success to me is the byproduct of failure.
Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to Anyone Anywhere podcast. So today I have the pleasure to have with me Khendriix Maxwell. So let me do a quick intro about Kyle. So Kyle Hendricks, it's a music and advertising executive. He is also the CEO of Art and of Music Entertainment and VivoMedia Group. So Kyle, first of all, how are you tonight, my friend?
I'm doing great. Actually, it's 12 o'clock in the afternoon over here, so I'm doing great.
Nice. No, it
Thank
seems
you for
that
having
it's
me, man.
Shan.
I appreciate it.
No, thank you so much. And I was seeing your IG, and it seems the way that you share your information, but we will go there. It's very motivating, but at the same time can touch in some oods, if you can say it. But for the ones that don't know you, can you tell me a little bit about yourself, please?
So I'm a 22-year-old entrepreneur, basically. I started Heart of Music Entertainment. That's the first company you introduced in 2017, about almost 4 years ago. And yeah, started that. It was just me. I had no connections. I don't come from extremely wealthy people. I don't really come from a big city. I'm from Berlin, Maryland, and I'm in the United States. For people that are not aware of that, I'm in the United States. My population in my city is like 6,000 people in my city. So it was a very, very, very small city. And so I started back in 2017. My life was I really wasn't on the right track. I went through a life-changing moment. I guess we'll get into that in this interview. And I basically started the label, just me. I'm working with artists. Basically, what a record label is basically, just with sports. Um, like we represent artists, like we promote them, we make sure that their careers are intact, and we try to polish them so that they can get more exposure and lead them to more opportunities, just like if we were to do with athletes, and just like how other people in the whole talent industry. So that's that. Nothing huge, nothing big. We're about 5 people deep right now. I have one A&R in Virginia, and I have two A&Rs in Baltimore, Maryland. We're really small, only working with one artist right now. I'm really building the foundation. This is nothing huge. We're not rich. We're not like extremely wealthy. Like we don't have shit. Like we're in the foundations of building this thing. And one of the things I'm really passionate about is helping other people, leading them to their goals, and making sure that everything that they're doing is for good intent in the right way. Because I don't know if how the music industry really is in Germany, but the music industry itself, and particularly in the hip hop industry, there's a really bad stigma around people are screwing people and contracts. Everyone that's in the music industry is just um very evil, very misleading, very nasty. What we're really trying to do is completely 180 that viewpoint and be a label that's not found on popularity, not found on any kind of status. It's going to be founded on what music really is. Heart of Music Entertainment. The word has the name has a meaning. It's the heart of music. It's about talent, loyalty, respect, and the actual passion about what we're doing. And I really think that we're going to completely revolutionize this terrible stigma that's plagued on the music industry. And that will happen. It's going to happen through work. It's going to happen through a lot of resilience. It's gonna happen. That's that. Vivo Media Group, something I started last year. That's the marketing company that I started. It's really just me and I have another guy, but he's kind of like off and on. He doesn't really know what he's doing, so it's basically just me.
Hmm.
Basically, what I do is I help small business owners with their marketing, with creating content, like the stuff you see I post on my page. I literally charge people to do that for their businesses. That's basically all it is. And so yeah, we do that. I mean, like I said, not just like Heart of Music, nothing too big, nothing too fancy. It's two very small companies that I'm starting. Most people don't really have like two businesses, trying to form two businesses at once, but I'm just crazy like that, and that's that's what I'm doing. So that's a little bit about me.
And first of all, love your story and a lot of respect on that. And
Thank you.
I love the way because it's like that. Everything starts in the beginning. Like Apple didn't start with a big headquarters in Silicon Valley. You know, like
Yeah,
everything starts in a small room with one or two people, like a lot of resilience, like you were saying that I love that. And it's the way that is for me the best way to inspiring people. Words matter, but actions, it's I think it's much more strong at my point of view.
yeah,
So let's go a little bit behind. What was that moment that changed your life?
man. If you guys are listening to this, grab some popcorn. I don't know what the snack is in Germany for pastime, but here in the United States it's popcorn. So grab some popcorn. Yeah. So 2017. In my mind, this was like 20 years ago, but it really was only 4 years ago. And I tell people this all the time. Like I was not as bright, I was not as articulate, I wasn't even as good as a human being as I am right now 4 years ago. I was a completely different person. Like I don't say I hated myself, but if I could think of the absolute person that I would not want to be right now, it would definitely be that guy in 2017. Like it would be that person. I was very manipulative, I was immature, I was very manipulative. Um, I just wasn't right in the head, and I made a lot of wrong conscious decisions. And this was when I was getting out of college. I only went to college for a half a semester. I didn't do the whole 4 years because it's just the whole school situation. That's not me. So I dropped out of college, and I was in this point where I didn't know what the hell. I didn't know what I was doing. I'm pretty sure a lot of people can relate to that. You're leaving college. You're like, okay, what the fuck is life right now? Like, what am I doing? And that period in your life is really crucial because things can go A and things can go B. And I went fucking B. Started hanging around the wrong people, started doing bad things. And I remember one of my friends came over to my house, and this was like 9 o'clock in the morning. And we made a list. I had a fucking list. Like, here's the thing. I'll go deeper into this. So I was always bright. I mean, I was always a bright person. I mean, I knew that. I was pretty smart, intellectual. And the thing about intellect, and the thing about being smart, and the thing about being articulate is you can use that for good or bad. In 2017, this is one of the things I despise. I used all my ability, I used my drive, and I used my smartness to do bad things. And so the whole moral of the story before I get into it is if you've been blessed with the ability to speak, if you've been blessed with the ability to sell, a lot of entrepreneurs are really great salesmen, but the thing that they're selling is a steaming pile of shit and it doesn't mean anything. If you've been blessed with these gifts, it's super important that you use them for good because karma will get you. I'll just leave it at that. So anyway, back to the story. He came over to my house. It was early in the morning, and I made a list of places that we were going to go steal things from. Like literally, we had a list. Like we're going to go steal from this place, and then this place, and then we're going to go steal something from this place. I had a list, and I was just doing really, really bad things. And this one night, I remember this night. This one night changed my life. And I know this sounds corny. I know it sounds cliche, but it really did. It was about 12 o'clock in the morning. We were sitting outside of a gas station or something. We were sitting outside of a corner store, and we seen a guy smoking a cigarette. Out, he was standing in front of the building. He was smoking a cigarette. I know this is crazy. Stay tuned, guys. So he was smoking a cigarette, and I think he was about 40, maybe late 30s. He was about 40 years old. 12 o'clock in the morning. This guy's just standing outside of a corner store smoking a cigarette, just standing there. And me and my friend were in a car, and we were kind of laughing at him, like, "Oh, look at this loser. He's not doing anything with his life. He's smoking a cigarette." And that moment clicked, like, wait, we're doing the same exact thing. And that moment clicked. And ever since then, it was like, wait, I seen what I was going to turn into right in front of my face. And the thing was, everything started to click at this point because My friend, he only did something when I did it. My friend thought the same things he thought as what I thought. The things that I said, that guy said. So not only am I ruining my future, I'm affecting people. I'm affecting the closest people to me. They're looking at me. So all of this started to synthesize in my head. And it was that day I was like, okay, fuck this shit. Like, I'm totally switching. So I stopped hanging around those people. I stopped, stealing. I stopped hanging around these bad people. And there was a guy in college. He had a record label, and I've always been a part of music. I was in band in high school. I always did music in my life. Music was always a part of my life. And this guy in my own college, he had a record label. I put quotations around that because it was some bullshit. And I was like, in this time, I have a new mindset. I got rid of the old friends, and I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna just start a record label. Because I always knew about music. I knew a little bit, but I want at that time I was so destined to start something. I wanted to be, something. So I started Heart of Music Entertainment. That's what it was. I never changed the name. That was a name forever. It was literally just me. And in my mind, I wanted to take my intellect, I wanted to take my smarts and take my musical talent, and I wanted to do that in a positive way. I wanted to help people, and I wanted to help build artists, brands, and I wanted to create something. And as time went on, I went through many shifts. I say the first year, 2018, 2017, 2018, I have to say I did have a little bit of that sleaziness in me still, and I did a lot of sleazy things. So it took a while for me to, and that's everyone. Like, I'm sure the way you are right now versus last year, like, you're a total different person, I'm sure, and that's for a lot of us. So I like to reflect yearly on myself. A lot of people, they compare themselves to yesterday, or they compare themselves to last week, and I think that's very foolish. We need to compare ourselves if you have to. I think we shouldn't be doing that at all. But if you must compare yourself, if you must judge yourself, please judge yourself yearly. Take a look at, what's today? December 10th, 2020. Think about December 10th, 2019. If there's any ounce of growth, if there's the slightest iota of difference between those years, you are making progress. You did something you did. You made a better decision than you made last year, and that's all that matters. So it doesn't matter if you're not, in a penthouse in fucking, I don't really know any cities in Germany. If you're not in the biggest penthouse in Germany, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're not
Mhm.
making $25 million a year.
Mhm.
Some people have these crazy ambitions, these arbitrary ambitions. Oh, I want to be a millionaire by 26, or I want to have 3 cars by I'm 40. It's like, it's childish. It's meaningless. Judge yourself by, and throughout these times, 2018, I was better than 2017. And 2019, I was a lot better than 2018. And this year, I'm sure this year, I think we all grew because we were so captive in our houses. We were so shut away from the world. We had a lot of time to reflect, a lot of time to really internalize, figure out who we are as human beings. And this year, 2020, was counter from what everyone else says. This year, oh, throw this year away. Oh, this year's trash. This was the best year of my life. I can say that. I can say that confidently and with validation. This was the best year of my life because I really, really, really educated myself on the internet. And I know that's kind of contrary for what I said about high school and then in college, but I really, really, really educated myself. I learned more words. I learned about I learned more about history. I kind of had to learn about history because the whole racism and all this stuff going on in my country. I had to learn about history. I learned a lot, and I've really awakened myself, and I've totally turned to a different human being from this time from last year. And it's really important that we all just try to be better than we were last year. That's all that matters because it's going to accumulate. It's going to accumulate rapidly if you judge yourself in a year. If you have to judge yourself, I recommend you don't do it at all. But if you have to, it's super important that we don't. beating ourselves up in, oh, that we didn't make this amount this month, or we didn't do this by this date. Just have one. If you just have make one goal to be the best that you can be, that's my goal. I don't believe in setting goals at all. I don't say that I'm going to do this by this. I'm going to have this amount by this. I have my one goal. I'm going to be the best human being. I'm going to be the best version of myself possible. Period. And once I set that as the North Star, everything else is inevitable to happen. Everything else is going to happen because here's the catch. You actually have to do that. You actually have to be the best version of yourself possible. So I'm going to be my best version of myself possible. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to make better decisions. I'm going to eat better. I'm going to work out. I'm not going to be fat. I'm not going to stay out until 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and party. I'm not going to go do these things that are not aligned with my goals. So once you set the goal as being the best version of yourself possible, that alleviates you from making short-term judgments, and it enables you to not cripple yourself by your short-term failures. It is a very smart, it's a very deliberate system in which to judge yourself by. And a lot of people think that it's stupid or it's dumb or it's trivial that you don't set goals. How are you going to know you accomplished them? It doesn't matter. The whole entire point is that you are better. You're making progress, because progress is the ultimate marker of success. Sorry, I went on a whole tangent there, but
No, but I love the curve that you give to the conversation. I love it. I love it. I love it
thank you,
because
man.
it was from the popcorns to comparison, because I think that is something crucial, that sometimes we compare ourselves with something that why do you want to be a millionaire, first of all, maybe you want for some reason,
No.
maybe you want to stop the anger in the world or wars, or you have a deep meaning, but like not for the Ferrari, like
Yeah,
you understand, and you are completely right about
yeah.
that. We should think deeply about it. I love it.
And I won't lie to you. I had that.
Hmm.
I had that kind of goal in mind. I mean, come on, everyone does. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, everyone has that goal. I want to be a millionaire. Everyone kind of says that. But as you really start to, by the way, I'm only 22, so I'm not trying to claim that I'm not like I'm fresh out the womb. I'm really young, but through educating yourself, you really have to put things into perspective. And I really don't. And I think those people aren't necessarily wrong for claiming they want to be a millionaire or claiming they want to be a billionaire. It's just that they haven't internalized their goal, and they haven't formed their perspective in life and through the whole entire world. They haven't really synthesized, and they haven't really became practical about what their actual goal is. People make ideological goals. People would like to be a millionaire, but they don't actually want to be a millionaire. They would like to be one. And that's a huge difference between would like to be something and actually pursuing something to happen. Those are two very different things.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the biggest things if you want to get practical is the top 1% of people make $400,000 a year. That's the top 1% earners in the world. So that's one fact. Another fact is some people in the world that don't know where their next meal is coming from. There's some people in the world that have to walk 20, 30 miles just to get fresh water. So while you're in a house with air conditioning, with Wi-Fi, and with food, and with clothes on your backs, you have this wild ambition that you want to be a millionaire, while some people are just trying to survive in the world. It's like, don't like those two things shouldn't coexist. That's how I'm looking at it. Look at it from this. There's some people in the world that don't have anything. They don't have nothing. They have nothing. So and do you really think those people want to be millionaires? You think they're worried about having $1 million? They'll be happy to have fucking $1. They're not worried about having $1 million, let alone 500 or 400. They just want something. They just want to be better than they were yesterday. That's what those people want. If you take the lowest common denominator of people in this world, they just want to be better than they were yesterday. And I'm not saying that poverty is something that we should glorify. I'm saying the mindset of not understanding and not putting yourself in perspective towards this goal that you have. It's a huge mistake that we're making. It's a huge mistake.
No, and I agree with you, and it's like for me the important thing it's if you do some action you have to know the why behind, you know. If you want to be a millionaire with the purpose of it, man, you can help a lot of people in your way to becoming a millionaire, you know.
You don't have to be a millionaire to do that.
Exactly, also that exactly. It's not the it's not like the being a millionaire that you cannot do that, you know. It's not a point. And
Yeah,
after it's like it's if I use a lot that same comparison. You have some people dying for eating too much, and you have some people dying in the same world that don't eat, you know.
yeah,
And it's the same world, and it's something that we should take care. I think at my point every person can act in your own world. I don't know if I'm making, you know, you can help somebody in your neighborhood, like giving a
yeah.
bread or a soup. Let's go. I'm curious about the name Khendriix. Why it's that?
It's really funny, and I think someone else asked me that. It literally has no meaning.
Okay.
And
Okay.
yeah, like right as long as answers I gave you, like the word Kendrick has literally no meaning.
Okay. It's just a name. Perfect.
Yeah, that's the name. People are like, oh, does that have to do with like Jimi Hendrix? I'm like, no, I can't name you one song by Jimi Hendrix. It's just my name.
No,
Really,
perfect.
like I thought it sounded cool. I've had it since about 2015. Yeah, the only thing that's changed is the way I spelt it. I changed the way I spelt Kendrick a lot, but
Okay.
the word Kendrick means absolutely nothing.
And why it's that? Why you changed the way you spell it?
Yeah, I changed the way I spelt it. I don't know. Sometimes first it was Khendri. It was two X's. Then it was like three X's at one point, and now it's two I's. I don't know. Maybe I'll
Okay.
change it again.
Okay. It's it's always a changing. It's like life
Yeah,
and
always a changing.
ourself, like you were saying. And I love also that perspective that you have in comparison, going a little bit back. If you have to compare to somebody or to some moment, compare yourself to 1 year behind. I think that is a lovely way. And when we are comparing ourselves with somebody, just have that thought, man, let's see what I did in 1 year. I think it's
Yeah.
lovely. Tell me, do you believe in having a purpose in life?
Do I believe in having a purpose in life? Um, do I believe in having a purpose in life? I'm not too sure how to answer that. Are you asking me? Do I think that? Do I
A
believe
meaning,
that we?
a meaning in life. I don't know, a deep meaning or a meaning at the moment. I don't know if you see, like being a music advertising executive. You see as that
Oh,
as a meaning
I
of your
got you.
life at that moment, or sharing
I
your
got you.
word also.
I got you. I understand what you're saying. Someone I don't know who said this. It was someone really smart. He said something really smart. He said, you know, to ask, God, or to ask God, what's my purpose? What's my purpose? You shouldn't be that's the wrong question to ask. You should be asking, instead of asking, what my purpose is, you should be asking what needs to be done. And I said last week that purpose isn't a task, it's an inquiry. So to find your purpose, to me, I believe purpose is a noble inquiry. You should that means in basic terms, that means look at your surroundings, look at what's around you, and ask yourself, how can I bring value to this? How can I bring value to the people next to me, the people next door? So that's why. So like, and just taking that kind of takes the whole millionaire thing. Like when people say that, when people say that, I forgot to say her name,
Vasco.
Vasco. When people say that, it's what is it? They're procrastinating what they really want to do. They're attaching themselves to something that they know they'll never become to buy time to bullshit. Because if you really wanted to help people, like, oh, I want to be a millionaire so I can give back, so I can give back society. If you really wanted to help people, if you really wanted to help, you would be helping right now. You don't need $1 million. What are you gonna do? Sit in your room and count and just accumulate money? If you have $999,999, you're not gonna help anymore. Does that make any sense? Or you're gonna wait until you get one more dollar? Okay, now I'm gonna start helping people. Super goal. So anyway, back to the point. Ask yourself what needs to be done. If you can add value to anyone's life, if you can add value anywhere. A lot of people, they want to sit and they think that, and they think that a purpose is gonna like come and like knock them over the head or something. But they think that it's gonna come, it's gonna send them a DM, like your purpose is gonna send you a DM, like, yo, like come do this. Like, and also I think that, purpose isn't to like sit and just ask. And kind of like it's really hard. It's really hard to explain this. I'm really trying to think of how I wanna explain it. For me, I think because when I started my purpose, I always knew what I wanted to do. I think that's why it's hard for me to answer this, because I always knew that I was attached to music in some way, and I was a very lucky individual to kind of just know what I'm supposed to be doing. So for me to answer this question, how do you find purpose? It's like, dude, I don't know. It just kind of I had it,
Mm.
but I can only answer the question, how do you become aware of your purpose and how do you align yourself with that? I can only answer that question. I can't answer how do you find purpose. And I know there's some people that, and I know the far majority of people, they weren't born with crazy musical ability, or they weren't born with great social skills, and they weren't born, being crazy talented or crazy good looking or crazy athletic. A lot of people aren't born with that. So, and I know that's most people. So for those people that are listening to this, for those people that are in that position, you have to put things in perspective, and you have to ask yourself what needs to be done. If there's someone that's next door to you that needs help, if you're on Instagram and you see someone doing something, if you see someone starting a business, if you see someone trying to be an athlete, and if you have a camera, if you have something, just attach yourself to something. And you really just have to throw your hands up and just have faith. Maybe if you attach yourself to that one person, and you just record them and you record your vlog, maybe you'll find out that your purpose is to get in the film, and your purpose is to be a videographer or something. Or maybe if you see someone, like me, if you know someone like me and they make motivational videos, maybe, I don't know, like maybe try to help, ask them if you can help, edit their things, or help, or how you can just try to add value to someone else's life, and try to make your surroundings, and try to make things slightly less miserable than they are this second. And I think if you can find your way to align yourself with somebody that does know their purpose, with someone that does know, or maybe they don't know, or maybe they have an idea, you just need to align yourself with something that's already going. And that first time may not be it. You might, dancing might not be for you. You may not be the greatest rapper that you think that you were. You're probably not an entrepreneur. You're probably not a good salesman. You're not going to get it right the first time. Like, I'm sorry that life is not that easy. So I would say you have to align yourself with someone that knows what they're doing, or has some type of plan, and try to make your surroundings as slightly less miserable than they are. That's the best way I can answer that question.
I love, no, and it's sometimes it's just with a question like, how can I help somebody near to me? No, like you
Yeah.
said, and think a little bit about that. And you are talking about surrounding. How important is for you the people that surround you? How can
Oh,
that influence you?
wow. That was the whole entire thing back then in 2017 with those people. There's that classic saying, if you hang around 5 broke people, you're going to be the 6th broke person. If you hang around 6 rich people, I guess you're most likely to be the 7th rich person. So you really are a product of your environment if you choose to be. That's the thing. We have the free will to choose our environments. Most of us. we may not think we do, but we definitely do. And if your circle is like, if they're negative, if they're, if they're cynical, if they send you like, videos, and they send you DMs of like of other people and they're gossiping, like those people are not, they're not helping you. And that's why it's important to know where you are, where you're going in life. It's really hard. I hate talking this. I hate talking about stuff like this because it requires so many other, things. Like if you don't know your purpose in life, it's like, why audit? Why, like, someone's not gonna understand why they have to audit their friends. They're not gonna understand that. If you just wake up and you're just like, oh fuck it, I'm just gonna, I'm just gonna be alive today. I'm gonna go see my friend John, and we're just gonna go kick it and drink beer all day. That person, particularly that person, they have no reason to cut off John because they're just living. But to make this answer more contextual, if you're not happy where you are right now, you seriously need to see your surrounding people. If you're not happy where you are, if you get home after work, if you get home from your business and you're fucking miserable, you have to make a change. And where it starts, if you have to see the people that are around you. Because when I was around those people that didn't want to work hard, that just wanted to steal stuff, they didn't want to build anything. They just wanted to go and party and go to the club every single night. In 2017, I went to the club every single night of my life. That was my job. Like, I went to the club to have party, to have drinks and party and get drunk. Like, that was it. Like, that was my life. If you are unhappy, you have to cut out those people, and you have to align yourself with a goal. It's really hard, man. You will see a significant difference if you audit those 4 to 5 people, and you don't. And opposite from, Gary Vee talks about this a lot. He says, you don't have to cut them totally off. You can just, limit your time. Well, I'm gonna say, fuck what Gary Vee's talking about. I'm telling you, listen, Khendriix is telling you to cut those people off, because the fact of the matter is, if those people aren't adding any value to you, what's the use of keeping them in the loop for? Now think about it. If those people aren't adding anything to your life, what the hell is the purpose of keeping them around? There's no purpose. There's no reason why you shouldn't be upfront and say, yo, like, Vasco, like 3 weeks ago, I cut off one of my best friends. I told him, because we did not see eye to eye, and I told him, I'm like, yo, we're not, like, he said some wild shit, and his life was going in this negative slope. And I just said, bro, we can't be friends no more because you're not aligned with my goal. I literally said the verbatim. I said, you're not aligned with my purpose, and we can't be friends. One of my closest people to me. It wasn't any passive aggressive authority. I just said, you're done. And when you have such a strong purpose like that, you're not playing no games. Like, you have no time to play you're not playing any games. You have no time to play games. When you have a goal and purpose, when your eyes are dead focused on something in life, those people that are hitting you up and they want to talk about somebody, or they're sending you a message and they're saying, oh, look what this person did, or look what this person did, or oh, do you want to go here, or oh, and just sending you fucking like memes and funny videos all the damn day, and they're not focused on anything. Don't cut those people. Those people they're not doing anything. If you want something in life, you have to surround yourself. You have to be around people that want something, that are going towards something, that wake up in the morning and they want to do something. Even if that means cutting off someone as close to you as my friend, you have to be willing to do that. You have to be. If not, you're sacrificing not being lonely for your goal. And that's stupid. That's the thing. They don't want to be alone. They don't want to be alone. They would rather be accompanied by mediocrity than be alone in purpose.
It's true. Yeah.
I
think it's a lot about that. It's a lot about staying in your comfort zone. It's staying in what you know. And sometimes if you don't know what is your purpose, it's easier because at least it's your comfort zone. At least you know that John and Bill, we go every night, drink a beer at 7 o'clock,
Yep.
and it's just another day, and it's just living, like you were saying, like
It's our comfort zone.
yeah. And which advice you will give for the persons that they already found the purpose, but they are too afraid to give the next step?
Then you're screwed. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. That's not your purpose. If you're scared, then you must not really want it. I'm not in the business of motivating you to do something that you know you're supposed to be doing. Like, let's take hunger for instance. When you're really, really hungry, like you're really hungry. Like, when's the last time you were really hungry, Basco? When's the last time you were fucking like you would literally eat anything you've seen? Like, seriously, when's the last time?
Man, I don't remember really. To be lying to you, I think, man, I thank God I never had that occasion. Like
Yeah.
angry to kill somebody.
Let's pretend maybe you were on the go somewhere and and you were just really, really busy and maybe you skipped lunch or you didn't have time to eat. Let's
Mm-hmm.
think of the last time you were really hungry.
Let's
Like,
see.
can you remember that time?
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Maybe, yeah, a couple of months ago. Yeah. I
Right.
had to
So that
skip lunch, exactly.
right. Yeah. So I want you to visualize this.
Hmm.
So remember that one time you were hungry as fuck. If I were to give you a cheeseburger or something at that moment, would you eat it? Yes or no? Of
Of course, yes.
course, right?
Of course.
So let me make this better. Let's take the most hungriest person in the world right now, because sadly that exists. There's somebody in the world that's the number one hungriest person alive right now. Do you think that person's picky about what that food would be if we gave them something?
Not. No, man. Of
Oh,
course not.
I don't really like mayonnaise. Can you scrape the mayonnaise off? Do you really think they would have some type of preference? Do you think they would be scared to try a new type of food? When you really want something, I'm not making this point. You'll take anything you can get. I'm not making that point. But when you really want something, you are going to get it. You're going to get that fucking food. You're going to get it. There is no fear. There is no speculation. There is no second thinking. There is no being picky. There is no nothing. When you want something as bad as you're hungry, there is no nothing. There's nothing in your way. The obstacles don't matter. You don't give a fuck if it dropped on the ground. You don't care if there's fucking flies all over it, bro. You don't care if someone sneezed all over it. They want food. They don't care if it's not cooked. They don't care if it's not medium rare. They don't give a fuck. They just want some goddamn food. And that is the same level of that's the same level of focus and drive that you need for your roles. And if you don't have that, I know that's really, really, I know it's really extreme, but it needs to be that, because that eliminates any possible like when you asked me the question, I was okay, they have a goal, but they're scared. It's like, fuck you if you're scared. You're screwed. There's millions of other people right now that want this thing. It makes me funny, like it work if you ever work, maybe if you interview an artist one day, if you interview I don't know if you ever interviewed any music artists,
Artists, yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's something like it's not most of them that they have this really. I've worked with them for a long time, so I've really got to depict their nuances. They really think that they're the only, like a lot of them think this way. They think they're the only person on planet Earth that makes music.
Hmm.
It's a crazy thing, and I don't know if this is like I don't know if every creative person thinks like this, but I've worked with enough and I've seen enough, and I just have enough knowledge and experience enough to come to this realization that a lot of them think that they're the only ones on planet Earth that has to pay for studio time and they have to make music and they have to promote the music. They think they're the only people on planet Earth that are doing this. So when they're making excuses, when they're saying, "Oh, I don't have a ride to a studio. I don't have enough money for studio time. Well, I don't have anybody helping me promote it." It's like there's a millions of other artists that are willing to do anything to have the same type of fame and the same type of goals as you want. And if you don't want that as much as that starving kid in fucking Haiti, it's like you have no shot. You have zero shot. That's how I'm looking at it. A lot of artists, they don't understand that this is a fucking competition. Life is a competition. It's a big competition. Everyone wants to win. We're to win.
No, it's true, and it's true. It's
If you're
sometimes
scared, it's like, well, sorry. I mean, I don't know. I'm not scared of anything.
oh, man.
I don't know. That
No,
person's
because it's
screwed.
that if you are too scared, there is another one in the line that will not be, and
Yeah.
yeah, and I agree with you, man. It's like, for me, it's like you said, it's the bigger motivation that we can have, like anger. It's like a clear example of that. Like, but if you need something, if it's really a need, you will do everything for it.
Yep.
And our persistence, because it comes with the for me, it's connected in the segue. Our persistence and consistency, it's important for you.
Consistency and persistence.
Exactly.
Oh yeah. I say if you don't have consistency, then you're history. Like people don't understand. People have the attention spans. I think about it. This world is changing, bro. Like our attention spans. Are you on TikTok?
Yes.
So here's the thing about TikTok. This was a stat. This was a statistic last year. I haven't really kept up, but last year, 80% of people on TikTok were consumers.
So is it?
80% of people on TikTok were just watching shit.
Mm-hmm.
The average TikTok video was like 10 seconds. TikTok is one of the biggest social media apps in the world. So let's take these statistics and let's take these stats and most likely these numbers are like astronomical now. They're probably bigger now. So let's just say 90% of people, 90% of the world is on an app that the average video watched is 10 seconds. Let's just conceptualize this. So if you want to be doing something, and I'm kind of making the presumption that if you want to be consistent, you want to be persistent, then you need to be making content and you need to be on social media. Like everyone knows that. I'm not here to convince anyone that social media is important. If you don't know that social media is important, you're done. Like you're just go sit over there somewhere. Just go sit next to John. So the 90% of the world is on an app that watches videos for 10 seconds. Do you not think that you maybe have to be consistent to like think about that, man? Like 10 years ago, we were all fucking on Facebook, the most boring, mundane app on planet Earth. We were all on Facebook watching like long ass videos. We were all on Facebook on this one thing on a desktop, reading this one thing, and we would read people's long captions. We would consume it. It would be long. We would scroll. We would consume the next piece of content. We would look at it. We would consume it. We would scroll. We would look at the next thing. We would look at it each individually, and each one had a different story. Now, this is us all day long. We're doing this. Oh shit, my fucking camera's moving. We're doing this on our phones. This is how we're consuming stuff. It's fast. It's like we're going through it fast as fuck. So if you're not consistent, if you are not in each one of those slides, if you're not constantly on that screen on Instagram, if you're not constantly on that screen in people's face, if you're not persistently in their view, you are done. You are history. It's just math here. That's what I post 4 times a day on like every platform known to man because I want to be seen. I want to be seen everywhere. It's fucking math. You have to be seen. You have to be consistent and persistently seen, and something will snap. Something will click. Like how the hell do we get on this interview? Because you've seen a piece of content, you've seen what I did, and I was consistent.
I was
If I wasn't,
curious
yes, and you were alert to it, and also,
with
your
time.
content, your content can't, your content can't suck. Like you can't suck because then no one's gonna want to fuck. You wouldn't interview me if I was boring as fuck. So you have to be persistent and you have to be good. But the only reason why I'm this good is because I was persistent and because I'm consistent. Because you get better if you keep on doing it. That's why it's so important. Like, man, I don't understand. You have to be consistent and you have to be persistent. Like those two things are are like, that's like, that is like the laws of physics. Like it's like fucking gravity. It's like you have no choice. If you jump up in the air, you're gonna come back down. It's like laws of physics, dude. You have to be consistent, or you have no shot. Because people are fucking going through stuff like this, and we're bored, and we watch stuff for 10 seconds. And if your thing is not compelling, if your thing is not grabbing someone's attention within those first 2.6 seconds, if you're not constantly on that screen, if you're not constantly and persistently and consistently in these people's faces, you don't exist. You don't exist. It's not like how we used to watch, TV back in the day, and we had to wait, and we would all anticipate, and we would wait till 4 o'clock for fucking Grey's Anatomy to come on. It's not like that anymore. We can literally go on anyone's page, and we're constantly in the feed. We're constantly consuming content. 90% of us now, like the audience is bigger than the people making stuff. So that's a big problem. There's more people consuming content than making content. So that's like a huge oversaturation of consumers. There's more consumers than people making things. That's just the way it is. So if your audience is this goddamn, I don't, my arms aren't on the screen here. If your audience is this goddamn big, and there's only like a small portion of people making stuff, how on earth are you going to catch these people's attention? How are you going to catch their attention? How? By
Consistency.
posting, by making. If you did if you did one interview every 3 months, do you think this podcast would be anywhere if you did one interview every 6 months?
No, of course.
You'd be like, damn, how come I'm not getting any interviews? How come what's happening? How come I'm not on Vlad TV yet? Because you're not fucking doing anything. You have to be consistent, and you have to be very persistent. Those are like those are non-disputable laws of anything, of anything.
And love
Too
it.
important.
Love it. And it's like that. And let's go a little bit on some subject that I love that you talk. Personal brand. Having a personal brand. Because for me, like before Corona, I was a little bit no, I was against social media. I didn't care, and after
Yeah.
I start learning about how you can use it in a good way, not just as a consumer. But can you tell me why it's important to have a personal brand in general and in social media?
Wow. Personal branding is something that's been going on for a long, long, long time. A lot of people think this is something new. Fucking Steve Jobs had an amazing personal brand. The way that this guy would host these conferences in Silicon Valley, and the way that he would promote his products as if this was like the most important thing on planet Earth. Let's remember it. This guy would sit on the stage, and he was the first guy to do this. Like, he was the first person to kill this, and he would have big, long presentations of the Mac and the fucking new iPhone and the iPod and the fucking whatever, the iMac, the iThing, the iPhone 2, the iPhone 3, the iPhone 4. And he had this aurora. He had this personal brand. He had this image. He was the face of Apple at the time before, he got kicked out and he came back in. He was the face of this brand. He was the one that was pushing it. And when he left, and when they kicked him off the board, I can't remember when this was. When they kicked him off the board, and their company started, their shit went down the fucking drain. They were going down. But when he got back on, and that's when the iPhone came out. When Steve Jobs was removed from Apple, they were going down. When he came back, they were going up. That's why a personal brand is very, very, very important, because it gives somebody, they're not buying. It's hard to explain. When you have a personal brand, and I'm looking at this from a business perspective, not really like something else. Let's focus on business for now. When you have a personal brand, people are buying. They're not buying this. You're not buying the iPhone. You're buying the story. You're buying the brand behind it. You're buying the message. You're buying into what this guy's talking about. You're not buying the product. You're buying the story. So if you can position yourself, let's say I was selling if I was selling pine cones, for instance, I can't I can't sell someone the pine cone. I can't. It's impossible. If I was a really, really good salesman, I probably could. But you're gonna have a really hard time selling the fucking pine cone itself. You have to make the story around it. You have to say this pine cone was from an arcane tree from the 1600s, and a fucking emperor from from fucking Germany had it, and like, you have to make a story around it. You have to entice people. You have to tell people the story. Not saying lie, but you have to make a story. You have to get people attached to the story so that they're not. So by the time when they're making the decision, they're not buying. It doesn't matter. The pine cone was $6 if it was $6,000. They just want to buy into that story. That's why it's important. And I know the way I just described that comes off like it's manipulation, but it's not, because if you're actually passionate about this pine cone and if it has a great story, that needs to be said. Just in the beginning, when I started Heart of Music Entertainment, I didn't just come out and say, all right, well, I'm a Black guy and I have a record label, sign here. It wasn't like that. I had to tell my story and made it compelling. I'm telling people, hey, did you know 3 months ago I was stealing stuff and I was a fucking savage? Like, I'm telling people the story. Because when you have a meaningful, and you have to tell the story, and you have to have a personal brand, and you have to separate yourself from the company. I was telling a client from VivoMedia a lot, like earlier this year. This dude was, I don't know, this dude was crazy. And we were working on his page. We were working on his Instagram page, and it was an anonymous page. He was selling apps. It was an anonymous page, meaning it was a page, and it was like the page was it was selling apps, and he was trying to sell apps to people, and it was just a page. And the owner of this page, he had an Instagram page, but he wouldn't push his company. He wouldn't push it. And I know everyone doesn't. I know everyone isn't comfortable, being on a camera and talking and making videos like me. I know everyone's not comfortable doing it. I know that's not everyone's strength. And I wouldn't suggest, a very introverted, a really insular person to whip out a camera and start talking about stuff. Like, I wouldn't suggest that. But you can write a blog about something. You can maybe, this guy posted pictures. I'm like, how about you post a picture about this? How about you push this? Or how about you make a video about the top worst apps on the App Store, and just say something about that, and say why these apps suck, and say why they sucked, and then say what we do different making apps. We do this, like, tell the story of it. And he didn't want to do it. And he was wondering why his page wasn't growing. He was wondering why he wasn't getting any clients, why he wasn't getting any traction. My bro, there's no fucking story. You're just selling apps. It's fucking apps. No one buys stuff. The jacket you're wearing right now, I don't know what brand is it. There's a brand behind that shit. When you go in the store, there's a fucking brand. You're buying into the brand. That's what people don't understand. There has to be a story behind it.
I love it. And you already give it, I think, some tips for business in general, but which tip do you will give for small business, in particularly in these times that we are passing, in these corona times, how they should adjust?
Oh, I'll give you a great example. So as far as the music industry, a lot of people, everyone, basically, there is no, the whole live event industry, that's like done. There's no concerts. There's no Rolling Loud. There was no South by Southwest. There was no Coachella. There was none of that. All that stuff was done. And a lot of these brands, they converted into live streaming events. And live streaming events had I just read something this morning. Live streaming has taken off this year. And they didn't wait. A lot of artists were performing on live stream. I think Travis Scott, he had a whole performance on Fortnite. There was fucking almost 1 million people there on this concert on Fortnite. There was almost 1 million people at this fucking concert. So, and I know that's kind of extreme, but for small businesses to understand that during these times, you have to look at what these big companies are doing. They're shifting. They understand that they can't be outside. So let me live stream. So maybe if you had like a store, maybe you were selling muffins in like a store or something, and the big guys in the suits and jack boots came in. They said, hey, y'all gotta shut down. E-commerce and direct to consumer, that's constantly growing at a very fast rate. A lot of companies are going direct to consumer, and these brick and mortar companies are getting shut down. They have to close their doors because of regulations and the whole CDC and shit. And the thing is, they should have seen this curve coming. I remember this was about 2 years ago, and I seen that they were opening a movie theater near where I live, and I look into a lot of stuff, and I read an article that was saying that the movie theater industry was declining rapidly. So I'm like, why are these people making a movie theater when the whole movie theater industry is in decline? So that, I don't know who owns that, but that person obviously wasn't paying attention. And what just came out this year about AMC? What is AMC doing? They're fucking renting out their theaters for like $100. You can rent out the whole theater for $100. They're totally diluting their brand, and they're totally just throwing up their hands and say, "Hey, take our brand for $100." Like, it's just they might make some short term benefits off of that, but at the long term, they're diluting AMC theaters, and they're diluting their brand. And they should have went direct to consumer. They should have went OTT a long time ago. You know, AMC. I don't. Do they have? I'm sorry, I'm talking about a lot of American companies. Do they have AMC in Germany?
Man, no, I think if I understood AMC, it's a little bit like Netflix, no? Like
So
it's
you're
going
following
in
me.
that way that you mean,
Yeah, AMC is
like a cinema.
they're cinemas. But the thing is, look what happened to Blockbuster. Blockbuster got totally locked out of
Exactly.
business from Netflix. AMC, they said a couple of years ago that they weren't going over the top like Netflix, like Hulu, like they said that they
Exactly.
weren't doing that. They were being religious, they were being romantic about having their movie theaters, and now come to the end, and now they're suffering from that. Now it's 2020, and now they're like, oh shit, we didn't make a fucking app, and now we're fucking plummeted. Now we don't have enough capital to make a fucking app because that would take more money. So let's just rent out our movie theaters for $100. Now they're suffering the consequences. So during these times, it's really important that you stay prepared and you make these transitions. So if you're selling muffins, like you have to make a website, sell the muffins online. You'll make a lot more money that way. If you're doing anything, you have to switch. You have to be always prepared on where the market's going. And I really don't remember your question, but
No, but
it's
it's
always
advice for small business going
yeah,
digital in general, let's say. But
yeah,
you are giving.
yeah. You have to be really, really, really prepared. That's super important. And to not be religious about what you're doing, or or take it, or be emotional about what you're doing. Like, oh, we're not gonna have an app because everyone's doing it. Like, great example, Quibi, for instance. I was on Quibi's ass ever since they started. You know Quibi, right?
No,
Quibi, that's even better. So Quibi was,
tell me.
they were an over the top. They were a streaming platform like Netflix, and
Okay,
they started earlier this year. And
okay.
the thing is, they didn't their content. They had really great marketing. I'll give them that. They had really great marketing, and all the biggest companies in the world, like Disney, fucking Warner Bros. They fundraised over $2.5 billion.
Hmm.
They fundraised a lot of fucking money, and one of their biggest issues were their content was all right, but they didn't do what the people wanted.
Hmm.
They did what they wanted to do. Their app sucked when they came out, and they tried to blame the coronavirus for them going out. They recently just went bankrupt. They went out of business. They didn't even last a whole year. They went out of business, like, I think, last month, and they were trying to blame the coronavirus and stuff for them going out of business. First of all, if you're a mobile streaming platform for movies,
What is the
how
way?
would corona how would coronavirus how would that negatively impact content consumption? That means your thing sucks, and they didn't take any of that in consideration. So the whole moral of that story is, listen to what your audience is saying, and that's why it's important to make content. If you're not making content, then you have no context.
Hmm.
So if you're a small business and you're not making content consistently, what are you making your actions based off of? Off of what Vasco is doing in my head? Are you making your decisions based off of what I think I want to do? That's not right. You have to do what the people want. So if you're constantly making content, and let's say I'll go back to the blueberry muffins example. If you post a picture of maybe let's say you have strawberry muffins this time, and you're posting pictures and you're making content about that. And let's say someone commented and they say, "Oh my God, I love these." That is context. That's data. Now you know what your customers want. You don't have to. And so now when your business closed down, you have no fucking idea what your customers want. You have no idea what they want because you have no type of context on what they want. So that's why it's important to be on social media so they can see, so you can have that context, so people can comment on your things, so you can know what the consumers want, and so you can take that data and say, okay, fuck blueberry muffins, we're gonna start making hella strawberry muffins because that's what the people are fucking with, and you give the people that, and you constantly turn that wheel around, constantly. So you have to be on social media a lot if you can afford it. You have to do that consistently and persistently, and make sure you're giving what the people want, and make sure that you are adjusting to what the market is doing, not what you want the market to do.
And love it, and it's a lot of good advice, because it's like you said it. By just you posting content, you will have the data. Like, and for me, the example of the muffins, it's great. If you posted three photos of muffins and everyone likes the chocolate muffin, you have already some information there. So
Right.
maybe
I'll give
this
you
is
a great.
our best seller.
I'll give you a great piece of advice to grow your podcast. I didn't really check your page out that much, but if you start, and I see you're recording this, once you start posting these, I suggest maybe you start asking people, hey, who do you want me to interview next?
Okay.
Comment below. Comment below who you want me to interview next. Now you're allowing your community to be a part of what you're doing. And so think about this. And I know it starts very small. So let's say this person that they want to do the interview is not important at all. Like, let's say this person's like just not, I don't want to say not important, but they're probably just a normal person.
It's not a celebrity.
Not celebrity. If you interview that person left a comment, they're gonna say, "Oh shit, he listened to what I said." That is a fan for life. And now you're interviewing that person. Let's say after that interview, you say, "Okay, who you guys want me to interview next?" And then they give you someone else. That next person you interview could know the biggest talent recruiter in your fucking state, in your area, and that's gonna lead to these opportunities. So when you add your community to what you're doing, it's not, oh, here's my interview, now go watch it. It's, hey guys, I just interviewed a guy, I just interviewed someone you guys told me to do. It's like you're doing it for them. So ask them, who do you guys want me to interview next? Or ask them, hey, what should we do in the next interview? Or what should we do here? Or what should we do there? Or do something crazy, like, or interview the people that are commenting on your posts. Like, really think of different ways to incorporate your audience to what you're doing, because a lot of people it doesn't come together. A lot of people, I'll take music artists for instance. A lot of music artists, they make music and they put it out, and here's an audience, and they say, here, listen to this, watch me do this. I just shot a music video, go watch it, go do this. They're treating their audience like slaves, like captive slaves that have to obey by their every command. They're not making it they're not making it a community. Good music artists, like good ones, they go live with their audience. They talk to them. They tell them what they're about to do next. They ask them, who should I make a song with next? Who should I do this with? They say, thank you guys for the support. Thank you guys. I just hit 100 followers. Thank you for that. I just hit 500 followers. Thank you. I just hit 1,000 followers. Thank you. They make a community around what they're doing. So I forgot your question again, but what was the question?
Oh no, because it was in the follow away of the small business, after you give the example of my podcast. And first of all, I love it. First the tips. I'm still new at this social media stuff, so I started in Corona. Like, I was in Facebook, I was in Mirk, I was like long time ago, but I didn't like that kind of social media that you start to compare yourself too much with the other person's life. So I said, this is not for me. But it's always, for me, it is always some advantage, like you were
Yeah.
saying now. And
Do you have a LinkedIn?
yes, I have.
Yo, so I have a great tip. I went
Please.
on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a great platform. A lot of people in the marketing place on Twitter, they like to shit on LinkedIn because they say, oh, it's a bunch of spam. People spam me. Oh, I never really do anything on LinkedIn. That's because those people they're not using the platform right. If if you don't use something right, you're gonna think it sucks. If you don't use something right, you're gonna think it sucks. Let's just get that basic fact out of the way. The way to LinkedIn is not. I really don't think of LinkedIn as social media at all. LinkedIn is a tool. I post content on LinkedIn. I do that, but I know that in the way it is, the way the app is amortizing out and they're trying to add stories. LinkedIn is I don't know that I mean it's owned by Microsoft, so I don't see it going out of business anytime soon. But that app is it's kind of off on an island somewhere. But LinkedIn is a tool. You can literally go on LinkedIn. You can search for people that you're trying to connect with. It's called LinkedIn. You link in with people. That's what the platform is for. It's not about like I don't know what I don't know how I don't know what people are thinking. What I look at it is you're linking with people. You're making connections.
Mm.
I was talking to um shoot, this international stuff is screwing up my examples. Is there a what is the water called? What's the name of that water? Is it called something aqua something? I forgot. But I was talking to the CMO of like a huge like it wasn't Fiji water. Is there Fiji water in Germany?
Fiji water? Yeah, I know Fiji water. I know Fiji water.
Yeah, it wasn't Fiji water, but it was a
But
similar
yeah, some
something like
brand
that.
of what?
I was literally talking
Mm.
to the chief marketing officer of that brand. I was literally talking to them on LinkedIn because I searched that company's name. I can't remember it. I searched that and I searched CMO. I looked them up. You can literally hit connect. You can hit follow. You can send them a message. You can literally talk to and type in like you can type in the defensive coach for Borussia Dortmund, for instance, the soccer team. You can literally talk to that guy. You can literally type
Yeah.
in, okay, the head manager of fucking, I don't know, Arsenal. You can literally type in these fucking people and they can pop up and you can talk to them. So I would say, hey, I'm gotta tap the screen to read your name. I think you ran that. I'm Vasco. I just started a podcast. Um, I would love to have you on. I would love to know your story. I would love to know this, da 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 da. Da. Let me know if because if the thing is with podcasts, people like to feel famous.
Mm.
People like to feel important. If you hit up, if you hit up people that are in these high positions that don't get asked to get on podcasts, it's like, oh shit, I'm about to get on a podcast. Like, what the fuck? Like, someone wants to know what I have to say. Those people are 9 times out of 10 going to agree to do it. Now, the thing is, you have to. These people are busy. These people are, they have a lot of things to do. But if you would take time and like to reach out to like 100 or like 200 people in your area of what you want to do, as far as like, I don't know a whole lot of things in Germany. As far as like these like people, let's say sports people, or if it's people in like the rap or whatever it is, if you hit these people up on LinkedIn, like the high level ones,
Mm.
that's going to give you a lot of exposure, and those people might know people and people that know other people, and then in 5 or 10 years, you have your own segment on fucking YouTube. Like that's how it works.
Love it. Man, I love the idea and it's so practical, man. Thank you, man. Thank you,
Yeah,
Kyle. It's very practical and I will use it for sure. All of them, I will think
no
about it
problem,
and I
man.
will worry it. Thank you, bro.
Yeah, man.
Thank you so much. Now I wanted to ask you, let's deviate a little bit. How do you describe your mindset?
How would I describe my mindset? Wow, that's a good question. No one's ever asked me that before. That's an interesting question. Um, I'm a little. That's the thing. I'm a little like. I'm a little like cuckoo. I'm a little crazy. So my mindset is pretty weird. My mindset is I don't know, man. You're asking the wrong person. But instead, I answer this question. You have to. I don't know, man. I really don't know how to answer this question. It's like asking a blind person, what color is my shirt? It's like I don't I can't see, man. I don't even know. I'm not aware of my mindset.
No, no.
I've been through so much shit. I've been through a lot. I've been through a lot of trauma. I've been through a lot of things that normal, average people would like be done. Like they would just be done. They would just give up. And my mindset, I guess I'll answer this. I always think about my why, like why I'm doing this, because I want to, be a good person. I want to be the best person possible. But if I were to really think about my mindset, it just has to be like I'm not coming back. Like this is it. Like this is it. I have a this is it mindset. Like I'm not coming back. I'm not gonna have another chance to do this. Like you're gonna like tomorrow, like you could be like a fucking who's to say a fucking meteor when it come on planet Earth and just destroy half of Germany and fucking people like who's to say that's not gonna happen? Like we don't know what is gonna happen tomorrow. This could be your last day, dude. You can close this computer. I'm God forbid it doesn't happen. We can have a great interview. You can say, "Hey, see you, Vasco. Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to go do that new strategy that Khendriix told me about." And boom, you can have a heart attack and die.
Yeah.
And then you wake up in the hospital the next day, and they revived you, but you're fucking paralyzed. Like shit happens all the time like that.
That's true.
And when I think about things, if I face adversity, I'm like, well, at least I'm not paralyzed. Well, if I lost a client, well, at least I'm not totally bankrupt. If I lost an artist, I'm like, well, at least I have. Like, I'm always thinking, at least I have this, and I'm always thinking, well, this is it. And I'm totally numb to a lot of things. I know that's not good. I kind of have that psychopathic numbness, like this kind of no remorse thing about me. I'm numb to a lot of things. I'm emotional. I cried I think I cried 3 times this year. I don't know if that's a good number. I don't know how much the average person cries a year. I think I cried like 3 times. Even when I'm down, when something really tragic happens, like I swear to God, my whole life, I have to force myself to get downtrodden and to get down. I have to force myself because I know if I don't express this
Expel.
emotion, it's gonna build up, and I'm gonna end up cussing somebody out. So I have to force those tears out, cry, Khendriix, like get those tears out. Like I have to beat myself up to do it. So my mindset is, this is it, and I'm just grateful to be a human being. I don't understand how anyone else could have a different mindset. Like you're not coming back. Like you're not coming back, and this is it. You and I are not starving, ribs showing, skin peeling off. Like we're alive, we're healthy. This is it. Like wake up every single day and say that I'm going to do the best I fucking can. Like I'm going to if you are not waking up in the morning and thinking, how can I make this world less miserable? You're making a huge mistake. You have it's all aligned with purpose. When you're aligned with your purpose, so many things that mattered don't matter. Like what other people are doing, how much money other people have, the status of other people, how much followers other podcast interviewers have, how much views someone else is getting, how much likes someone else is getting that they fucking buy that are fake. So much other things don't matter when you're aligned with your purpose, because the only thing that you can see is yourself and that fucking goal, and nothing else. It's crazy that nothing else matters. Nothing else matters to me. But obviously, loved ones and my friends. But between you and I, man, like nothing else matters but me and my goals. That's it. That's the only people that's the only things that exist in my mindset. And I wasn't always like this, but it came through, I guess, luck. It came through preparation. It came through a lot of adversity. It just came through years and years of focus. It came through a lot of focus, man. Like I put a lot of work. I'm not crazy successful. I'm not anywhere yet. But where I am right now, it took so much work, dude. Like it took so much. Hours and hours of being awake at night, not sleeping. Like I developed sleeping disorders in the past because for not sleeping. I would go to bed and my fucking head would shake and my eyes would fucking roll in the back of my head. Like I was getting in terrible shape. Now I don't suggest people get sleeping disorders, but the thing is like you just gotta see you and your goal. That's it. That's all that matters. In my mindset. That's all that matters.
Man, I love it. And exactly like you said it, it's you and your goal and the peoples that you love. If you are pursuing something that you love, you will make other peoples in your way happy. And you were
Yeah.
talking about this year. What were the big lessons that you are taking from this year in particularly and this situation, this COVID-19?
Wow. You say you're from Portugal, right?
Exactly.
But how long have you been living in Germany?
3 years now.
3 years? Okay, cool. So you're from South America. Yeah. So this year, I think, and this is kind of weird, this year was really about due diligence. I think this year, because social media in general, has inflated so big, people aren't thinking for themselves. They're letting the internet think for them, and they're letting the internet make their own decisions. I'm actually writing a book. Drum roll. Actually writing a book. I've been playing this book forever, since 2017. We're going to start writing it on January 1st. It's called Well-Rounded Fool. That's going to be my first book I'm ever going to write. This book is going to be about, and the thing is, it's really crazy. I was going to start writing it 2 years ago, but I knew that I was too stupid to write a book. I'm just going to put it like that. I was too stupid to write a book. I didn't want this book to be just a diary of my opinion and just how I think about things. I didn't want it to be like that. I wanted it to be empirical. I wanted it to have data in it. I want to have facts in it. I wanted it for I want a 50-year-old mature man that has a family and wife and kids to want to pick this book up and read it. And where I was 2 years ago, no one's reading that. No, I probably wouldn't even read that fucking book. But I think now, this year especially, I think now I'm more capable of writing a book that's actually gonna, like hit
Mm.
people. So the book is called Well-Rounded Fool, and basically what that is someone that is someone that's very this is something that's really going on in America, all over in the West too. People are very ideological about their thinking, and they're not practical at all. They're complete ideologues in their thinking. They don't know the full story of things. They don't have a full perspective on things, and they form low resolution ideologies around things they don't fully know, and they try to bring more people into it. And this is increasingly going on in politics. It's going on in the music industry. It's going on everywhere. People are getting half the story and making full opinions. It's crazy. They're getting half of the story and making full on opinions about things. And I know that's kind of a weird topic to make a book about, but if you get down to the root of what's going on right now with people in their ordinary lives, we do that a lot more than we think. We know half of the stories of things, but yet we have a whole mindset on it. We know half the story, and this book is going to be about knowing the full story of things. It's going to be about learning the whole entire story. It's going to be about it's called Well-Rounded Fool. How to break the paradox of intelligent stupidity. That's the subtitle. It's intelligent stupidity. It's going to be about learning things. It's going to be about putting in the work first. It's going to be a book about how, even back in history, and how, I'm not trying to get too political on here, but how the left and the right side of politics is playing a huge part in in the world right now, with this victim mentality. Everyone's a victim. Oh, if you offend me, you're racist. We come to these huge conclusions, knowing half of the story, making full opinions about things. We label people, oh, you're bigoted, or you're racist, or you're this, or you're that, knowing half of the story, but not knowing the full entire thing, not being educated. This book is going to be about why it's important to do your due diligence on things, how you can prevent ideological thinking, and how you can become practical and become a well-grounded person that knows the full thing, that puts in actual work, and then opens their mouth and talks about something, and then goes and pursues it. Because that to me, that's the biggest problem in society. People, people read like a headline or two, like people read like a fucking headline or two
I call
headlines.
them headline readers.
Yeah, and now I'm a feminist now. Like, oh, I'm a doctor because I read one article about fucking heart surgery. I'm a doctor now. I know everything about this. I know everything about this. And people are headline readers. And what's really going on? If you go on Twitter, you have a Twitter.
Yes.
Even on Twitter now, when you want to retweet something, a little quote pops up that says, "Hey, do you want to read the full thing?" Like, this is so sad. This is so sad that we've come to a place in society where we have to remind people to read the full thing before they form an opinion. That's fucking bonkers. That's crazy. And I know a lot of people are kind of, they have their opinions on we shouldn't be being censored, and we shouldn't, and the fact checkers and all this stuff. I'm not with the fact checking. I'm not with the violations of our freedom of speech. I'm not with that. But you have to take into account. At some point, we have to be accountable, and you have to ask yourself, how the hell did we get here in the first place? How do we get to a point where we have to get fact checked? Because people are spreading. People don't want to read shit anymore. People are just spreading bullshit that's not fully true. And I know that you can't control what people are saying. I know you can't control what we say and how we say it, but we can raise people's interest, and we can, if it's through a book, if it's through a video, if it's through an interview, if it's through me talking right now, we can encourage people to want to read fully into something before they get into something. We can encourage people to really conceptualize things and then act. We can encourage people. We can do our work to encourage people to want to be smart and be intelligent. I think we can encourage that, and then we wouldn't need fact checkers. Then we wouldn't need prompts on our post say, hey, make sure you read the full post, buddy. Like, we wouldn't need that kind of stuff. And I know we're never going to get to a point where we're just a complete utopian society and we're all smart and we're all doing the right thing. I know that's not even the fucking goal here. The goal is the point that if we can bring as much people together as possible through a book, through a video, through an interview, we can get as much people possible all crazy obsessed with knowing the facts. That's going to be a better world. If we can get obsessed with knowing facts, we can get obsessed with knowing the stats about things. 99% of entrepreneurs fail. Only 1% of people actually make it. But yet there's people selling courses on how become a millionaire in fucking 30 days, how to make a 6-figure business in 30 days with my fucking course. It's fucking ridiculous, man. So that's what this book is going to be about. It's going to be about, and that's why I think it's important that I start writing it this year, because everything is so fresh. I don't know if how politics is in Europe, but Yeah, this was an elect. This
It's
was an
becoming
election year.
hot.
Yeah, this year was an election year in the U.S.
Yeah.
So it was really important that I start writing this year while it's all going on, while it's all fresh, and that's not going to be done till like I think it's going to take me at least like 2 or 3 years to finish it. But this year was really about learning the full story and just really knowing your facts, because competence and intelligence and facts are what makes you unstoppable. It really does.
Man, perfect, perfect. I love it. I was reading also now, going one sentence in your Instagram, and let's talk a little bit about this sentence. Worrying about everything isn't only a bad idea, is literally impossible.
Yeah,
What should we do?
that's that's a really good quote. So yeah, worrying about everything isn't also a bad idea. It's impossible. Like you can't worry about everything. You really can't. If you did, there would literally be no point. There would be no point. Like back to the question you asked me before, and I'll even go in more detail. I cut my friend off because
Mm.
he was he just became very nihilistic, meaning he thought there was no meaning in life. He didn't believe in God. He didn't believe in anything. He just thought the world was just a fucking world, and he was being very rude and arrogant about it. And I just cut him off. And I said, you know what? I don't need that type of energy around me. So I cut him off because he was being nihilistic and he didn't have a purpose and didn't have a meaning. I don't need no one around me that doesn't have a meaning. That's a no. Like no, like get the fuck away from me. I'm not having anyone around me like that. So that's one point. So when I say that it's impossible to worry about everything, it's impossible. You can't save everyone. As bad as I would like to, sit down and talk with my friend about God and this and the Bible and talk about life and there's meaning in life. As much as I would like to do that, you can't worry about everything. You can't. And it's a bad idea to try to save everyone and save everything and save this and save that. A lot of people, they get caught in this conundrum of constant rescuing people. And I understand a lot of compassionate people as myself. I experienced that too, where we have this like burning desire to want to help everyone and rescue people. Like we have that desire to want to help people. But at the end of the day, we're feeling fucking empty. Like we're feeling empty inside. I didn't even check on myself. And I stopped doing that. Like I don't do that anymore. Like I used to overextend myself for people, and I would be the last person to eat. I'd be the last person to make sure that who was okay. Fuck that. I'm not doing that shit anymore. I don't do that anymore. That's long and gone. And a lot of people they conflate caring and worrying about things. Caring and worrying are two different things. Worrying involves anxiety. Worrying involves angst. Worrying involves a negative emotion. Caring is actual compassion. Caring is mature. Caring is being okay with the ramifications. That's what caring is. Those are two different things. And a lot of people conflate those two things. Those are two very different concepts. So you can care about things, you can care, but don't worry about things. Worrying is very bad. Worrying draws a negative emotion. Worrying is about anxiety. Oh shit. Oh fuck, I didn't get him, or oh fuck, I didn't post today, or fuck, I didn't do this, or fuck, I didn't do that. Like you can't worry about everything, dude. But once you understand that you constantly trying to fix everything, once you understand that you can't be on top of everything, that relieves so much stress. You don't have to. Not only, I'll even add to that quote, not only is worrying about everything a bad idea, it's also impossible. And here's another line, and you don't have to. You don't have to worry about everything. You're not compelled to worry and be on top of everything. You have to be on top as much as you can do. And the key is to not punch yourself in the face just because you fucked up on one thing. A lot of people and trust me, I'm hard on myself. I'm really hard on myself, but I can take it. But a lot of people they'll like they'll be so hard on themselves because they messed up or they forgot to do something or something didn't happen. I just don't understand that. You don't have to be on top of everything. And once you understand that you're not responsible for anybody else besides yourself, it alleviates so much stress. It liberates you to you decide what you're going to worry about. Like you decide. Not people let like the level of other people's agony dictate what they have to worry about. No, you, Vasco, you decide what Vasco is going to take care of. You decide what you are going to care about. Not someone else's screams of terror and horror and pain. That's for that person to worry about. And I know what I'm saying is kind of that it would turn off someone that's like compassionate and wants to care for everyone. But once you understand that we're all the fuck.
Oh, you are back.
Hello?
Back.
We're back. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Perfectly.
I don't know what the hell that was. Once you understand that we are all individual, autonomous human beings, and we all have our own shit, it alleviates so much extra baggage that we don't have to carry. Worrying about everything. I always say this: I don't give a fuck about anything. Like I kind of already told you, I don't give a fuck about anything. That doesn't mean I don't care about anything. It means I don't worry about shit. It's a very sophisticated thing, and I know that me saying I don't give a fuck about anything, I know that kind of throws people off. Like, what do you mean I don't give a fuck? Like, I do that on purpose because not giving a fuck means being equally prepared and okay for anything to happen. So if I'm going into something, if I'm going into like a meeting, I'm prepared for them to say, hey, I'm with it. Let's do it. And I'm prepared to say, you're fucking stupid. Leave me alone. I'm okay with it. I'm okay waking up tomorrow and getting kicked out my house. I'm okay with waking up tomorrow and having my Instagram page deactivated. I'm prepared. I'm okay for anything, because I can't worry about all of life's adversity. You can't worry about it all. You have to take it as it comes. So I'll leave you with this. So once someone understands that worrying about something, once someone understands that worrying about everything is a bad idea, once they know that it's impossible to worry about everything, and once they know that they don't have to, they can have a much better life. Once they understand those three things.
I love it, man. I love it. I really love it. And it's like, for me, sometimes what is happening, and now you make me think about it. It's sometimes we confuse caring with worrying. You know,
Oh,
sometimes
hell yeah.
you get confused. You think that because you are worried about a person, you care, and it's exactly the opposite way around. And it's now you make me think with another perspective. Like, thank you for that.
You're welcome,
Tell me,
man.
tell me one thing. What is your definition of success?
Wow, that's a good question. So here's how I think of success. Success to me is the byproduct of failure. That's what I think success is. I don't think of success as a tangible object. I think of success as success is a pursuit. Success is an ongoing thing. It doesn't have a form. It doesn't have a. It's like you don't become successful and you just sit here and I'm successful now. Like, that's not it. You have to put it into perspective, because highly conscientious people and highly successful people, they're constantly going. They're constantly going. And if you watch enough interviews, if you listen to enough people, and if you really like capture people, if you watch interviews from like our celebrities or like artists, and they're asking, or like new, or let's say new celebrities or new artists, and they have all the stuff. And if you really pay attention to when they're getting interviewed, and they're saying, "Oh, how do you like all this? How do you like all this fame? Or how do you like all this stuff?" And what do they always say?
What they always say in respect of the
Yeah, out of all the stuff, or what do they always say?
man, I think it's some, they will say that they work for it.
Well, yeah, But if you really pay attention, they all say, "Oh, it doesn't." I still feel like I'm just a normal person.
Oh
They always
yes,
say,
yes, yes, yes,
yeah,
yes, yes,
yeah.
yes, 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 yes,
They,
yes, yes.
they right. They always say, "Oh, I feel like it was just yesterday. I was a normal person." They always feel like that nothing changed. They're just crazy famous. They're just crazy in the state. And but to all of us, they're crazy successful. So to me, when I look at that, and that's not just one instance. I've seen that a lot of times. And if you really watch documentaries, if you watch these people, they're normal ass people, but they never do. You never feel like you're successful. You never feel that. You never. It's never a constant. It's not a constant thing.
Mm.
No. It's not. It's not an ending thing. It's a constant facade. It's a constant thing that's
It's the
constantly moving.
journey.
It's the journey of it. Yeah. So that's how I think about success. Success is failure. So, and the only reason how people get to those things is because they fail. It's because they go through things and they fail, and something doesn't work, and something didn't work, and something else didn't work. Like, let's take Mark Zuckerberg, for instance. He had like 10 other things that failed before he had Facebook. Like 10 other things. Let's think about this now. And each of them, he worked as hard on each of those things as Facebook. So let's just think about that. Let's just take that in perspective. Let's just say that Facebook wasn't the thing that popped off. Let's say it was something else. Let's say it was totally something else that failed and worked. We would all be on that thing, whatever it would be called. Maybe it was called,
MySpace.
Arm book. Yeah, MySpace or whatever. We would all be on that. But it was through all that failure of things. It was through that failure that he would have never got to Facebook if all those 10 things did not fail. You see what I'm saying? We would never
Mm-hmm.
had Facebook, and if we never had Facebook, Facebook never would have bought Instagram. If we never had Instagram, I would have never made content. If I never made content, I would never been talking to you
Right.
because you never would have seen that. So success is the byproduct. Facebook is the byproduct of all 10 of those things failing. And it's and here's the thing: how it never ends. How you said you were new to social media, but I'll inform you. Facebook right now
Mm.
versus Facebook 10 years ago, two totally different fucking things. Two
You
totally
can
different things.
tell me. You can. Completely
Inst-
different, man.
Insta- Instagram in 2011 versus Instagram in 2021, two totally different fucking apps. When the app came out in 2010, it was only pictures. It was only a picture app. That was it. But what was Kevin's system? He's the CEO of Instagram. What did everyone think that Kevin was? He was successful. He made Instagram. He made it. It got sold to Facebook for what, like a fucking $1 billion. He was successful then, but Instagram never stopped. Kevin's system, he didn't just have Instagram and just say, oh, that's it. I'm just never gonna touch it. I'm just gonna have my hands up. Now we're buying things on Instagram now. Now we have Instagram Reels. Now we have videos on Instagram. Now we can go live. Now we can fucking what else? We have fucking DMs. We have so like it keeps on changing. It keeps on molding. The Instagram is never gonna it's never just gonna be one thing.
Exactly.
It's constantly evolving, and that's how success is. It's always constantly evolving. That's how I think about success. So when people think that success is like a certain amount, or they say, oh, when I get one thing, or sadly mistaken, because I'll tell you what, if your success is to just get one thing and then stop, you're in a lot of trouble. Seriously, man, you're in a lot of trouble. Because people are going to get bored of that.
And yeah, and you are so right. Like I love it. All the description and the sentence that you can do highlight of that. The success, it's the byproduct of failure. And sometimes for us, I will say in society, and I'm generalizing, and I know that is never right to generalize, but accepting failure, it's something, and talking about our failures, it's something that it's not very common. I think that we still use social media as the great life that I have, not the real life that I have. It's something that is changing, but
Yeah.
I don't know if you agree with me.
Yeah, social media is definitely it's exposing people, and and the fact that it's exposing people, and so I'll go this way. Social media is really really changing. At first, you could trick people into thinking that you were living a certain way. So you could fool some people a couple of years ago, but now I'm thinking I'm just taking a wild guess here, just from what I'm seeing. Now we're starting to look at those people that are posing with big wads of like money next to their ear and next to like private planes and stuff. Like we're starting to look at that with a little bit of cynicism now. We're like, that dude, like he's just fucking faking it. Like he's putting on. It's becoming really easy to distinguish who's real and who's fake, and especially during this year, during the pandemic. I can't tell you how many people had entrepreneur in their bio, how many people took that out. I just sat back. I was so happy when I seen that because in 2019, I was like, that person is not like you're not that. And I'm like, just wait till a crazy tragedy. I don't know, like a global health pandemic. Let's wait till something like that happens. They're gonna fucking quit. Next thing you know, this pandemic happens. They all fucking quit and they take entrepreneur. Entrepreneur's gone. They're not entrepreneur anymore. I just wasn't feeling it. Just wasn't feeling it. Social media is exposing people. It really is at a rapid rate. So that's why people are constantly trying, and people now they're trying to keep up that image that they had when the economy was great just a couple months ago. People are trying to keep up that image, and I think within the next 5 or 10 years, we're going to get to a point where, and I'm already seeing this with TikTok. If you really pay attention, like people like authenticity is really something really great. Authenticity is winning. It's winning a lot. I'm seeing a lot of people say, Instagram is whack. Instagram is declining, and a lot of people are getting on TikTok. Like that's the really big app. Clubhouse. I don't think it's international yet. There's an app called Clubhouse. It's getting really big. It's a new app in the U.S. But if you look at the quality of content on TikTok, what is it? It's just people in their house doing dances, fun. It's like you can't get any more real than that.
Mm.
And there's a reason why that's the biggest app right now because people are tired of doing it for the gram. They're tired of that shit. People are like authenticity now, and these internet and a lot of these internet fools are getting on TikTok and they're trying to do Instagram stuff on TikTok. And if you read the comments, TikTok comments are vicious. Like those comments are like those are the fun. Like I thought YouTube had some comedians in the comment section. TikTok is the like I mean the level of just pure comedy genius of people on the TikTok comments, bro. Those people are hilarious. They will flame you if they sense like the slightest like, and this is so great. That's why I don't understand like how people cannot like social media. It's like it all depends on how you look at it. Like I think of it as great. Like being real is winning. Like authenticity is winning, and we're no longer happy to see someone put on a fake act. So the minute these kids are really good at picking up fakeness. Kids are really they're mastered at that because they've been doing that since they were fucking born. Like your teacher. Like you could tell if your teacher could actually cared about what they were teaching or not. You could
Right.
tell. I know I could tell. But the minute you do something stupid or you do something out of like just not authentic, those people are gonna rip your face off. They're gonna rip you into pieces because that's not what TikTok is about. It's about being yourself. It's about being yourself. Do a little dance or say something or say something meaningful or be yourself. And I really think that, and a lot of people are they hate it because they think, oh, there's a platform, there's fucking kids dancing and stuff, and it's just nothing. But it's like, I mean, what do you want these kids doing? You want them to be in the street, like doing drugs? You want them to be doing what they were doing on Instagram? Like, do you want them to be fucking like being fake or getting sad about likes? Like TikTok is not like oriented. It's not. TikTok it really isn't view oriented either. So we're already and a lot of young youth are wrapped up in the amount of views and likes they get.
Mm.
Like that stuff is real. Like people have like killed themselves over that, which is like, I don't know. You have to be. I don't understand that. I don't want to get into that. And you can't blame that on social media at all. You can't blame someone killing themselves because you cannot blame that to social media. That person has deep, deep insecure problems with themselves. That you cannot lay that at the feet of Mark Zuckerberg and tell him that he killed your daughter because you didn't give her daughter post likes. You cannot put that on them. That is to the parent. That's to that family. That's something totally different. So TikTok is already getting rid of these like metrics. We're not judging anything on metrics anymore. We're judging it on authenticity. And to a certain degree, TikTok is kind of getting what would you say? Kind of stale because everyone's kind of doing the same thing
Mm.
a little bit. There's a variety of content on TikTok. Don't get me wrong. There's a variety. You just have to. It goes by what you like. The algorithm is perfect right now. It's about what you like, about what you like to see. And from what I'm seeing, authenticity is winning, like pure authenticity, and that's going to be really, really great in the next coming years because we're not basing things off of metrics and putting on a show. It's like we're rewarding you for being yourself. When has that ever happened
Mm.
in life?
Exactly.
It's crazy. It's gonna be really good.
I think yeah, and the shift that you are seeing, I think it's yeah, it's the next step, you know, because everyone it's using masks and it's tiring, and it's like you're saying, people are not like buying anymore, you know, like
Yeah,
you are another one with a jet, okay, okay.
yeah,
Exactly like you were saying. I
yeah.
think it's lovely.
And the thing is the structure of the platform. This is one negative sign. These kids are. I won't say that they have like a level of resentment towards people that have a lot, but it's there.
Hmm.
And I remember like there was a trend going on called like my rich friend check, like and the challenge was to show off like your fancy house.
Okay.
And in the comment section, like these people were not having it. Like they're like, "Fuck you!" Like, "Oh, go to hell, go to hell!" Like, "Go to hell, go to hell." Oh, no, oh, sucks for her. Like these people are ripping these people apart. And when you see things like that, let's say if you posted that same video on Instagram, they would all be like pray they would like be like praying. They'll be like at on their knees like worshiping you as if you were like God or something. So the level of respect of content between just Instagram and TikTok, it's like you can't knock that. You know, like we're getting in a spot where it's becoming not cool to be arrogant and flex your fucking things. It's a complete opposite of Instagram. It's gonna be really, really great, man.
Exactly. I think yeah, yeah. The more real that you are, the easier it's the path to
Yeah.
in the social media. I will say that
But I will say those people are really judgmental. These kids are really judgmental. I will say that. I mean everything's not perfect, but they're coming. Like they're coming. They're really judgmental.
and
They
it's
really are.
easier to be a border warrior, you know, behind the
Yeah.
screen. Everyone can, you know, like
Yeah.
and but like you said, it's a way also to man. If you take the critic and group and learn with something, if it's something constructive, you take it home, you learn it. If not, just man, worst case
Yeah.
scenarios, it's your TikTok, and you can exclude everybody from there.
Right.
You know, so. Tell me a little bit about daily habits. Do you have anything like do you do any daily habits, morning routines?
Um, that's a great question. I was on a. I'm gonna feel like a hypocrite now because I'm in this period where I'm taking like I'm gonna get back on. I'm gonna
Okay.
get back on it Monday because I just got done with this crazy workout thing I was on. I was on it for 75 days. I was working out twice. I was working out 2 times a day for 45 minutes. I was doing 2 45-minute workouts every single day. I was drinking like I was on this crazy workout thing. I lost a lot of weight, by the way. So you're catching me right when I got off of that crazy thing. So now I'm in the Cheez-It world now. So so I'm not lying when I tell you this. But I work out a lot. I'm only taking 2 weeks off. But Monday I'm getting right back on it. So I wake up at 5 in the morning every single day, 5 6 in the morning every single day. I work out, do the first workout. I check the articles. I check Billboard. I check the Ad Age. I check the blogs and things. I check the internet to make sure what's going on, so I can make sure to know what type of content to make or what to tell people or anything. I check up on my people, and I go on my computer and I just get to town. I just work on my computer. I reach out. I'm trying to push my brand out. I'm reaching out to people. Like kind of the advice I told you, the whole LinkedIn thing. I'm doing that constantly, and then I have a second workout in the afternoon. I usually do that around 7. Then I eat dinner, and then I just go back on my computer and I just post and make content. VivoMedia is slow as fuck. I really have to make a lot of more effort towards that. But as far as harder music, artists, they're doing okay, I guess. One of my artists have well, not my artist, but I don't like to say my artist. It sounds kind of like possessive. But one of the artists I work with, he has a music video coming out tomorrow, so we're gonna promote that. Basically, I have a really boring life. Like, it's really boring. All I do is just work on my computer. That's it. That's all I do. From 5, I go to sleep around. It's crazy. I go to sleep around like 12 or 1, and then I'm like right back up at like 5. I usually sleep around like 4 or 5 hours of sleep.
Fuck, man, I wake up early, but fuck, man, like 5.
Yeah.
I try it, but it's 6. It's okay, but like
yeah. And here's the thing: I wasn't a morning person 2 years ago. So it's all about like I like to torture myself a little bit. I'm a little weird. I'm a little what's the word? Not I'm not a sadistic. That's another word. I like to put myself through excruciating pain. Like I love it.
I will say, like, no pain, no gain.
Yeah, no pain, no gain. I like to, like, it's weird. Like I like to, I like right now when I just said VivoMedia is like slow. I'm not getting a lot of clients. Like, what business person would tell you that? Like, what business person would that would openly just come out and tell you that my business is slow? We're down. Like I love that. Like I love that because that's what gives me the drive to that sends fucking invisible messages to my brain that say, okay, I need to work harder. I need to do more things. That's what keeps me going. The uncertainty. Like, that's what keeps me going. I like when everything's bad. I like that the world is shut down right now because all the fake people, they're fucking in their rooms crying. Like they're fucking depressed. All those people that were being fake as fuck for the last decade, they are getting hit so hard right now that they're like, imagine this. Like, imagine people like you and I. Like, this from talking to you for about
2 hours almost.
This from talking to you. I can tell that you're a real genuine dude. Like you like talking to people, and like you're a real genuine dude. That's one of the things. I'm not trying to boast about myself, but I can read people. Like
you feel energy.
Yeah, I knew who you were like the first 10 minutes. Like I just knew who you were. Think about this. You and I, we would be lying if we wouldn't say that. I had my head down in the beginning of this year, like everyone did. Like, we're fucking humans. Like, it hit us. But just imagine how it hit someone that was being fake prior to that. Just imagine how it hit them. That's why, I have so much empathy towards those people. I feel sorry for those people that like have that are flexing and doing all this fake stuff. I feel sorry for those people because they're insecure as hell, man. Like, their entire worth, their entire being is predicated on how you think about them. That's bad. So imagine what those people are going through right now. Imagine the level of, like, I don't know. in the U.S., these artists are they're dropping like flies, dude. People are dying like flies in the music industry. Executives, when people die, I don't know how they report it in Europe, but when people die here, they don't say when it's something when it's like suicide or when it's like this is how crazy the media is going. When it's like something bad like suicide or overdose, they say, "Oh, John passed away this morning," and they say his cause of death is remained um not public. Like, okay, we're not stupid. We obviously know that he probably overdosed on drugs or he probably killed himself, and his family would rather it not be led to the public. Because if he had, let's say if he died from lung cancer or if he died from some type of health problem, and why wouldn't you want people to know that?
Exactly.
Why wouldn't you want people to know if it was something like that? You would want to know that so then you could help spread awareness around that. But here's how when people are dying now, like in like what month is it? December, like last month, like oh my god, like in the music industry, that so many people are dying, so many people are overdosing and dying and killing themselves and on drugs, and they're going to drugs and they're going to so many bad things because they just can't take it because they weren't being real. They weren't prepared for this, and like this year, man, this year has really it's separating us. Like I can't think of how you could look back at this year and say that this year was trash. I just can't. I can't see that. But I mean, despite people dying, despite all the terror and the agony, how much was built during this year? How much good came out of this year? I just can't see it. You're either choosing, you're either letting other people, you either want to feel cool and shit on the year. You either want to feel cool and say, "Oh, 2020 is trash." You either want to feel cool and say that, or you're just really a negative person and you just want to blame all your problems on something else. But for people like you and I, and for the rest of the people that heads are aligned, this year was one of the best ever. Not on paper. On paper, this year was terrible. Like on paper, this year was fucking terrible. Like you're crazy if you think this year was great. But on a different level, this year was phenomenal.
No, I completely understand you. For the humankind, it was a shitty year, but personally speaking, it was
Yeah,
a year to grow.
hell
And
yeah,
I
best year
totally
ever.
agree with you. Totally agree with you. Let's go. So I think it goes with the in the year. So let's say, what is the legacy? Because I like also to see what the person said, my guests. What is the legacy that you want to leave behind?
Oh wow, I want to go down as one of the most honest, one of the most authentic people ever that just didn't give a fuck. And I just want to go down as one of the most influential people on planet Earth that did the most great things, that treated people right, that left the like I literally want to like own this world. Like I have crazy ambitions. Like, but I mean to a better point, the legacy I want to leave on this world is that I want to be in the music industry. I want to get in that. Like that's my goal. That's not going anywhere. I want to change how people view that. I want when people think of the music industry, I don't want them to think of it being sleazy and this or being all about sex and being all about this. I want to change people's minds and I want them to know that you don't have to. Because a lot of people, they either sold drugs or they either sold their soul or they fucking did something else to get in. I want to be that example of someone that came from nothing, put in the actual work, didn't skip any steps. I don't have any famous uncles. I don't have a famous aunt that works at Atlantic Records. I want to be the person that took it from point A to point Z and did it right. And when I start to have employees, when I start having people interning, I'm gonna treat them fucking good. There are so many stories about interns getting treated like shit and having upper management people think that they're above. Like what I'm telling you right now, I know it's gonna happen. The minute I see someone in my company treating someone else like they're more than them, they're fucking done. I don't give a fuck if they're the best person. They're fucking done. They're out. We have to get a zero tolerance policy for that shit. We're going to be the people that are great and we're kind and we treat people with respect. And the only record label, the only company, the only thing that people are going to want to be a part of is Harder Music Entertainment, because we are fucking normal human beings. And we're going to make the rest of these people look like fucking idiots. So that's a legacy I want to leave. I want to be the person that did it right the whole way through. You're not going to dig up no dirt on my fucking name. You're not going to, oh, he really fucking, oh, he's cheated or he got this or he did this and that. Nope, because it's all, where is it? And the document the whole entire thing. It's all on here. So you can't tell me that I skipped the step. You can't tell me that, oh, I got
You are
lucky.
lying.
Are you fucking kidding me, bro? Let me take you back to because it's all on fucking film. I have it. So that's the legacy I want to leave. I'm gonna leave it here. It's gonna be on the internet. And someone in 2048, when I'm fucking out and I'm amazing, someone is gonna look back on my page from 2017, and they're gonna look at that fucking dude. I had dreads at one point. I had a really long hair. Like my fucking hair was down my back at one point. And I used to dress like a fucking weirdo. They're gonna look at that dude that came from fucking nothing and put this whole life on video and literally watch it change and literally see that he put in the work and he did this and he did that and he did everything right and he fucking made it. And people like him and he's a good person. That's the legacy I want to leave.
Man, love it, man. And I'm here to make part of that report because
yeah, man, I appreciate it. The fact that the fact that someone on planet Earth wants to talk to me and finds me interesting to talk to me for 2 hours, that's amazing. Like that's amazing to me. So I have to show you a much appreciation for this. I really admire it.
No, and already
Taking time out your day to ask me questions. Like it's really something. Like a lot of people, I'm getting fired up. People take this kind of stuff for granted. Like they take stuff like this. They really don't. They think this is about them. Like if you notice this whole entire conversation, yes, I talked about myself because it's kind of impossible to not talk about yourself during an interview. But the root of this is for you and for the people that are going to watch this. I'm not up here like just boasting and talking about me. This isn't about worshiping me. This is about an interview is about making someone captive and drawing out as much information from them possible. That's what it's about. It's not about it's not like worshiping me for fucking 2 hours. And so many people get to a point where they think they're fucking famous or they're popping, and they wouldn't go in detail and tell you about the things I said. They wouldn't tell you that their business is going down. They would tell you that they're fucking a successful entrepreneur. They would fucking go and lie and say something else. They'll sit back and be like, "Oh yeah, man, you just gotta grind and put in the work." Oh, you asked me a question. Oh, man, it's all about who you know. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just gotta know the right people. You asked me another question. Yeah, man, it's hard, man. I have my days, but you just gotta keep going. They're holding all the information in. They don't want to let you know. They don't want to let you know. Those short fucking dumb answers people give you that are in high positions, they don't want to let you know. They don't want to talk about that. Ask me about my shoes. Ask me about my fucking watch I got on. Worship me. Who do you think you are asking me about what I did to get successful? Worship me for this time. That's how they think. It's sick. And I want to totally change that, because no other music executive, no other people in my position do this. If you go look at other music managers, if you go look at other people that are in this field, oh my God, dude, like the level of, like, I hope I really change your perspective on this. I want you to look into the music industry. I want you to look at different music artists and music managers and stuff. I want you to look at their pages. I want you to look at how they act, and then I want you to look at me. And then you're going to see what the fuck? This dude does like I've been a part of I've been a part of I was an intern for something called D1 Entertainment like almost
Okay.
2 years ago. This label they had partnerships with Republic Records, with Atlantic Records. This was a big label. These people had like millions of dollars. Like, I was a part of that label. I was on their street marketing team, and I used to help them promote artists and stuff. I was on that team for a while, and so I've that's the closest I've ever got like to like the real industry. That's the closest I ever got. But they kicked me out of the group. They kicked me out because I was doing too much. When I was in, I remember this. When I was in, they asked me to get on, and I was in the group chat, and everyone else was acting like fucking robots, and everyone else was, I don't know, everyone else was being weird. I was the guy. I was giving ideas. I was trying to guide the group this way. I was trying to give this. I was trying to give that, and they fucking kicked me out. And think about it. I already had my own label at the time. I had my own label, but yeah, I was on someone else's. Like, who the fuck is doing that? Who has their own label and helping promote another label? Like, who the fuck is doing that? Nobody. So they kicked me out because I wasn't fitting their agenda. Their agenda was to worship the fucking the dude at the top. And I know his name is Omar. I know him. I think we're pretty good friends. We talk occasionally. The goal of D1 Entertainment was to worship Omar. It was like if you're not worshiping Omar, then you're fucking doing something wrong. And I wasn't playing that game. I was trying to help the artists. I was trying to think of different ways we can do things. But the thing is, a lot of people, they don't like. It's a threat. I was a threat to them. This dude everywhere. This dude comes in. You know, we might start worshiping him. So they had to kick me out because I was the only person doing something right in that situation. So, and that was a really shifting point in my career because I seen that a this whole I'm supposed to have my own thing. Like, I'm not supposed to be a part of something. I'm supposed to have my own thing. That was A. Number B, I really seen that these how and oh my god, dude, the way that they were treating us as
Hmm.
interns, the way they were treating us, like they were like fucking, they were like treating us like fucking dogs. And the thing is, no one else cared about that. No one else had any self respect. I was the complete I was the complete what is the idiom? I was the green thumb. I was like the elephant in the room, I guess.
Exactly.
I was like the standout dude. And that's why I got kicked out. And I seen that. That was the closest I ever got to like the industry. And I seen how those people were being treated. And I was like, not me. I'm not gonna treat my people like that. And here's the thing, that label, guess where they're at now?
The close.
They're gone. Their history. So it just goes to show you, man. Like, and they were moving. Like, they were doing really good. But their foundation wasn't built on respect and loyalty and mutual values. It was built on popularity and worshiping the fucking CEO. Like, it was.
Exactly.
I'm gonna change that.
Oh, and you are already changing by your actions, by making the change in your company. I think it's the best way, and it's the
Yeah,
best way to plant a seed. So you were talking about the book that you are releasing. You don't know when. The
I'm writing it.
exactly.
Yeah,
You are writing tomorrow. It's a new song that is coming out
yeah.
from one of your artists. Do you have any more new projects that you want to share with me?
Not at the moment. The the friend that I kicked that the friend that I recently kicked out, he was one of the artists on my label, so he's fucking out. So it's really like we're at a weird spot right now. It's not really a whole lot going on. But during this next year, once I'm writing my book and once everything's, and I'm planning on moving to New York because I'm done living in this fucking terrible town.
Hmm.
So I'm planning on moving to kind of New York and kind of like saying, fuck everybody here and kind of restarting. So I'm not saying fuck everyone here, but I just want to go to New York City. So that's like 2021 is about New York City. It's about writing as much possible for this book, and it's really about turning this shit up. So not a whole lot of projects going on. It's going to be a lot of bricklaying. It's going to be a lot of like. There's going to be 2021 is going to be like no fanciness, no album release parties, no like crazy rollouts. Like I'm probably not even going to be working with artists this next year. This 2021 is going to be about really building myself and layering my company right and getting in contact with the right people, because this industry is about, yes, it's about who you know. It's about building those connections, and I think that's what's really lacking in this. That's why it's really not kind of going anywhere. Who gets on a panel and talks about how unsuccessful they are? Like, like who does this? Like who does this? Anyway, but yeah, so this year is going to really be about that. It's going to be about, I'm going to look at all the areas I'm lacking in. I'm just going to attack those things. And I'm kind of already doing that. I'm not trying to set any New Year's resolution because I think that's bullshit. But if I had to give you a theme of 2021, it's like fucking. It's gonna be serious.
Focused. I will say that
Yeah,
you'll be
focus as fuck. And I'm just trying to be better than in next year on December 10th, 2021. I'm going to be 100 times better than I was right now. That's a great feeling, right? Like you thinking that, just think about next year, this time next year. Just think about how much of a better human being you're going to be. Think about how much more you're going to know. Think about how much more people you're going to interview, how much more information you're going to get from people, and how much more connections you're going to build. Just think about how much better, how much more it's going to be the next year. Once you start thinking about stuff like that, it just turns you. And once you do that for like a long time, you get to this point where it's just like, I'm in tunnel vision, dude. That's tunnel vision. That's going to be the theme of this upcoming year. It's going to be fucking tunnel vision. Like I'm telling you, bro. How do you?
31.
31. Jesus Christ, you look way younger than your age. But and you know that because you've been on planet Earth longer than me. Focus is the thing. Is I say tenacity is the number one trait of any successful person, is tenacity. The ability to withstand and hold on to something. It's like tenacity is almost like resilience. It's like the ability to hold on. Yeah, that is a number one trait to successful people. Like anytime, it's tenacity. If you don't have the ability to hold on when the whole world is shitting on you, it's like you're done. You have no shot. But if I would have to pick a second trait, it would have to be focus. Because, man, I tell you, like so many people, when they reach like a certain level of like success and like they have like more money coming in, they have more opportunities, they like that lack of focus, because so much things are like, like women are starting to hit you. Women are starting to like throw their underwear at you now. Like there's so much available you can do. There's so much things you can buy money on. There's so many things you can be doing. I'll tell you a story. This was 2 years ago. I went to you know where Atlanta, Georgia is?
And more or less, what is the state? Georgia.
So Georgia.
Georgia, yeah.
It's a state in the U.S. Yeah, it's a really, Atlanta, Georgia is like the not the birthplace of hip hop, but it's like the music, the hip hop scene. Atlanta, Georgia is the place. Okay. And I flew out there 2 years ago. For I was going to a conference. There was label executives at this conference from the music industry, and they were giving like speeches and stuff, and I went to go watch that. And of course, those people are fucking assholes on stage, and they're just being fucking arrogant. But I just wanted to go and network and stuff. And I just wanted to go soak that up and just be in a different place and network. And I made some connections. I still have people I talked to since I went there. And I was there for 3 days. And this was 2 years ago now. And this is where lack of focus got me messed up. So I got to Atlanta. I just got off the plane, and I couldn't get to my hotel until they wouldn't let me in my room until I think it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon. But I got there at 11. So that they wouldn't let me check into my room until 3 o'clock. So, and I'm like fucking, I had nothing to do from like 11 to 3 o'clock. So I go to the strip club to kill time. This is where lack of focus comes in. And I was fucking young at the time. So I know, and I regret this. I went to the strip club at this time by myself. I was like, fuck it, I had nothing else to do. So I go in there and I was getting a lap dance, right? And damn, I still remember this. That girl was damn. But anyway, I won't get too far into that. So I was getting this lap dance. I was fucking enjoying it. It was about 30 minutes. And then the stripper gets off my lap. And sorry for anyone who's listening to this. and the stripper gets off my lap and she says, you're at $100 right now. So what are you gonna do? I was like, sorry, come again. I'm at what? She's like, you're at $100. I'm like, no, she said you're at 100. I'm like, $100? I'm like, 100, like 100 what? Like you're at $100. I'm like, what the, like $100 for what? Fucking dance? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, and at first she told me the dance was $5 now. She said the dance was $5. I went, like, first of all, when I went in there, I just sat down. This stripper came up to me and she was like, hey, you want to dance? I was like, how much is it? She said $5. I guess in Atlanta they don't say dollars. They don't say five something. They just say a number. But anyway. And so when she got up, she was like, yeah, it's 100. I'm like, you said it was five. You said it was $5. She said, yeah, it was $5 per song. So I'm like, okay. So like now I have to fucking give you $100. So I didn't give her a fucking $100. I got fucking kicked out. And the security person had my phone. But they took my phone because they were trying to take $100 out of my bank account, but I wouldn't give them like my password and stuff. It was really crazy. And they kicked me out of the club. And this security person was like 8 feet tall. This person was big. Like he was like, if he was meant to be something on planet Earth, it's to be a fucking security guard. So this dude was huge as fuck. And he was like, man, we were outside. And he was like, man, where are you from anyway? You look like you're out of town. And I was like, yeah, I'm from Maryland. He was looking at my ID and he had my phone in his hand. He was like, get out of here. He was like this. He had my phone in my hand. And he was like, get out of here. And I was like, so you gonna get my phone back? So this guy tosses my phone on the ground. He just tossed it on the ground. I think it still has some marks on it. I think he did break my screen a little bit. So he tossed my phone on the ground. This is embarrassing now. This is in front of people. He tosses my phone on the ground. He says, get lost. And he says, if you come back, this is the American term here. He said, if you come back, I'm going to dust you. Basically, I'm going to dust you. I'm going to fuck you up if you come back.
Fuck.
So, yeah, so that burned some time. So I went back to the hotel room and yeah, that was it. But the lesson here is I wasn't focused. If I would have stayed focused on what the fuck I came to Atlanta for is to go there and to network and to go to this event and to do that, if I would have stayed focused, that would have never happened. So that's why focus is really fucking important, because if you take your eyes off the center just for a 1 minute, you're gonna have a stripper on your lap and you're gonna be out of $100.
Great conclusion, bro.
Yeah. The best way I can put
Stay
it.
focused, or
Yeah.
So tell me, after this one, what is your advice to make the world a better place?
What's my advice to make the world a better place? Wow, that's a deep question. I think that right now, I'm trying to get serious now. This is a serious part of the interview. Making the world a better place. I'll give two things. One, if you notice what I said, or what I've consistently said in interview, when I talked about this, I said, how can I make life slightly less miserable? I said that a lot. Do you remember?
Exactly.
That's how I think about it. I think about the question is, how can you make your life less miserable? Because misery is a non-questionable factor of life. Period. There's going to be misery. Life is miserable. I listen to a lot of Jordan Peterson. You probably know who that is.
Yes, I know him.
Yeah, he's really popular in your region. But I listen to a lot of him, and he says, life is miserable, and that's so true. And I don't think that make the world a better place. Life is. I don't think we should think about it as making it better. We should think about it as life being the most terrible and most scariest place ever, and slowly coming away from that. It's slowly getting less. Life is slowly getting less and less and less miserable. And when you think about it like that, you can really look into your life and you can say, okay, what am I doing every single day that I probably should not be doing? Like, what am I wasting my time on? What am I spending an hour or 2 hours doing? Like, am I watching too many movies? Like, am I fucking playing too many video games? Am I talking to too many girls? Am I drinking too much? What am I doing that's causing me more misery that I don't have to be experiencing? Once you think about it like that, you can then start to peel back off from another beer, because the beer is bringing you misery. You can start to not watch that second Netflix movie because it's not doing anything. You think about your life as making it less miserable, because once you make that the goal, you're making the presumption that misery is inevitable. You're going to be miserable no matter what. You have to be okay with that.
Mm.
So once you say you're making it less miserable, you're understanding and you are content with the fact that you are going to be miserable, and you are doing as best as you are making an effort to make this world less miserable, and that is a far more deeper thesis and a far more deeper mission than making the world a better place. Because I think when people say make the world a better place, I think you can really get lost into that, because that falls under the notion of no misery, and they fall under the notion of there shouldn't be struggle, and there shouldn't be adversity, and there should, and that's how you get into this socialist, this utopian mindset that the left has a lot. Like fucking a lot of people have. They think that there shouldn't be. No one's for poverty. No one's for people being homeless. No one wants people to be hungry. But these are non-removable things of life, and we have to understand that these things are just going to happen. We're never going to get to a point where it's perfect, because making the world a better place, because better and better and better, the end result of better and better and better is utopia, and that's never going to happen. So that's why that's the biggest flaw in saying making the world a better place. Once you have to make the world slightly less miserable, because our current system we have now is not perfect. It's misery. So if we can focus on making things less, did my sound go out?
No, perfectly. The sound is
Okay,
perfectly.
cool. Yeah. When you focus on when your end goal isn't a utopia, but it's a dystopia, it's a perfect dystopia. I think that should be our end goal. We should want to be in a point where we should want to get to the point where things are as not terrible as they could be. That is the best way that we can. That's the best that we can do as human beings. We've been here for like what, thousands and thousands of years. If there was like a one trick, and every single time, if you look in history, like I told you this year, I've looked back. I've read things that happened in Germany. I've read things that happened in Europe in the 20th century during the fucking like the Holocaust. I read about the Holodomor during when all those people in Ukraine, like the famine. I read about slavery. I read about Hitler and his during 1939 to 1945, the Second War. Like I read about all these times, and Stalin and Lenin. I read about these times when society was going towards utopia, That's where all the mayhem starts. Every single time, you look back in history, every time communism was trying to be implemented, anytime when the motive of human beings were the oppressed and the not oppressed, and when the goal was to get it perfect, it ended in bloodshed, in misery. It ended terribly. And every time the world focused, and that's why I'm so scared, and that's why I'm constantly trying to alert people on Twitter. I'm like a politician on Twitter. I'm like a total. I'm a businessman and everything else, but on Twitter, I'm like a whole politician now. But on Twitter, I'm trying to let people know that, like we shouldn't be, like, it's like when we talk about coronavirus. Like, here's some stats for you. I don't know how it is in Germany, but I know the total stats. Coronavirus has a 0.6% of coronavirus cases are critical.
Mm-hmm.
Only 0.6% of the 14 million people that have this disease right now. Only 0.6% of that is serious. Out of the 50 million cases, 1 million people died. But what they don't tell you is that the people that are dying are the old ass people. Those are the majority of people that are dying are the old ass people. And here's what I'm getting at. So when I tell people these facts, like, you have a 99% chance of not dying if you get COVID. You understand that? When I talk about those things, people then say, "Oh, do you not 100,000 people dying? Do you not care about that? Do you not care about people dying? Do you not care about people getting sick?" Sickness and death. Where did we make this? Like, where did in life did we forget that sickness and death were things that just happened? When did we forget this? This is not new. I'm not, like, you're labeled as not as apathetic because you're telling facts about sickness and death. This is stuff that happens. Like, we can wear masks, we can do as much as we can, but that is not making it any less probable that you can go outside. You have a high more percent chance of getting in your car and driving to go get a fucking blueberry muffin and dying from a car hitting you from catching the virus. People don't understand things like that. You have a better chance of dying in your car than catching the coronavirus. Where's the mandate on no driving? Where we're gonna not drive anymore? You have a higher probability of getting struck by lightning. In March, earlier this year in March, you had a higher chance of getting struck by lightning than dying from the coronavirus. Like, seriously.
No, man. And when you see the numbers, yes, you start, and the best way it's going back, like you were saying, fact checking, like just check what the media is saying first of all, like.
And that's exactly why I'm writing this book, because people are, and it's getting really, really hot right now. People are they're becoming headline readers. What you said, they're just reading headlines and they're letting the internet think for them. And what I really hope I accomplish with this book is to get people to understand that facts remain despite our opinions. Facts remain despite what you and I think. Exactly. Or what you and I think should be or what shouldn't be. Facts remain. Facts are facts. So I don't remember what the question was, but I really want,
it's going in the world, making the world a better place.
Oh yeah, making the world a better place. It's making it slightly less miserable. That's what it is. And that's what I think that, yeah, I think we should really think about making the world a slightly less miserable place. Because saying that, you're accepting and you're coming, you're understanding that there's misery. Like Jordan Peterson said something interesting, like the founding fathers that wrote the U.S. Constitution at the time. Like, and when they said, all men were created equal, and we're all made in the image of God. You know, they didn't put when they founded this country, you know, they didn't say that, you know, everyone like they didn't make it towards so everyone can be perfect. So we're gonna go to this perfect thing where there's no struggle, where there's no agony, there's no poverty, there's no hunger, there's no anything. We're just gonna be a perfect society. They knew that striving towards that is immature and it's just unpractical. We're striving for organized chaos. That's what people are not comfortable with. They're not comfortable with the fact that people are dying. I just don't understand when people. I really don't get it. And they always try to say, "Oh, you wouldn't be saying that if your mom got coronavirus, or you wouldn't say that if you got it, or you wouldn't be saying that if your brother got it." Last time I checked, a virus doesn't have its pick on who it wants to get. Like it's gonna get whoever it gets. And rather if I get it or you get it or a loved one gets it, the fact still remains that you have a 99.9% chance of breaking it. And I made another point. Sorry for going on and on about this.
No,
I made
please.
another interesting point. You know, in the U.S., I don't know how they're marketing this virus in Europe, but everyone's talking about, you know, wear a mask or you gotta wear a mask, man. It's your duty. It's your duty to wear a mask. Like you're gonna be a great human being. You're gonna stop this virus, and you're gonna save humanity because you're gonna wear that mask, and you're gonna social distance from people. Like that's what constitutes you as a good human being. And once you set the bar so low for being a good human being, that lets so many people become virtue signaling assholes. Because once someone doesn't want to wear a mask, all you have to do is wear a mask and say, "Oh, you're a degenerate. You suck because you're not wearing a mask. Oh, how dare you not care about people because you're not wearing a mask?" It set the bar so low. It gave us so much less accountability. How come we're not talking about eating good? How come we're not talking about having a good diet and getting your immune system up and taking vitamins to not let yourself be? And so when you do get a virus, your immune system and your body can fight that off. How come we're not talking about making healthy decisions? How come there's no mandate on smoking cigarettes? How come there's no mandate on alcohol? So we can drink alcohol, we can get drunk, we can go to the club and get drunk. But when we leave, oh, but you got to wear a mask because you don't want to catch the virus because you're going to die. Where's the accountability here? The people that are healthy as fuck are like almost a 99% chance of not dying from this. It's like so when you say, oh, you're going to be a perfect human being by not wearing a mask, it's the utopian type of theory. Like, oh, it's going to be perfect once we wear these masks. That's going to be it. No, no. In the U.S., President-elect Biden, he's requesting once he takes office, or if he takes office in January 20th, he's gonna make us wear a mask for 100 days. That's what he's pitching to. That's what he's pitching to the government. He wants us to wear masks for 100 days. And after it was 100 days, we can take them off and just go crazy. Like this level of like it's so like it's almost disheartening, but understanding that we have this level of idiots running the country is really sad. But that this man thinks that the duration of him being in office is in any way commensurate with a virus, if he really thinks that these 100 days, this number that he pulled out his ass, that if he thinks that this 100 days, it means something from the time he's in office, if he thinks that us wearing a mask now is different from the 100 days that he starts, if he thinks that there's a difference between those things, he's fucking insane. And if anyone thinks anything different, they're insane. Obviously, if you take precaution for a certain amount of time, math just showed you that it's going to get less. So the idea is he's gonna tell everyone to wear a mask for 100 days, and then after the 100 days, we're gonna take them off, and he's gonna be like, "See, I told you it's gonna get better." No fucking shit, it's gonna get better because we did it for 100 days. That wasn't the fucking point. We're doing that anyway. Like, oh man, this is just fucking crazy.
No, and after
slightly less misery.
No, it's the best way to approach, and
Yeah.
let's hope that all this kind of chaos going other way just pass. And also like you're saying, man, in going in a conversation, like doing the full circle, like what could we learn from this, man? Already that you are at house, like what can we take this year to learn? Like I think that is the important the big lesson that we should take from this year. Politics, it's a little bit complicated because I think all of them, they want, and in general the population just want that this shit disappear and we come back to the normal, like
Yeah,
I don't know the right answer for it. Kyle, man, almost 3 hours. Any last thoughts?
yeah.
Any last thoughts
It was
on
great,
what?
man.
Man, it was a great conversation. I love your energy, the way that you express yourself, man. I'm feeling that
Thank you.
you will go far away, man, and I hope
Appreciate
to
that.
see you in New York.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's the goal, man. But last thoughts.
Please.
Um, to wrap up everything that I said, it's gonna be kind of weird, but it's like, don't listen to me. I'm a fucking like a 22-year-old kid. Like, don't listen to me. Don't listen to fucking Vasco. Like, at the end of the day, you have to do your due diligence. That's what the book is about. Don't take the things that I said and just run off with it and say, okay, this is it. The only reason why I know these things is because I did my due diligence and I'm learning. I'm looking and I'm getting actual information and I'm internalizing it and I'm synthesizing it and adding my experience over top of it, and I'm giving you guys an educated opinion about what I'm saying, and also some factual things. But I'm taking the facts, I'm taking my personal
Mhm.
perspective, I'm making it one, and I'm saying it. So much people are relying on people like me to do the groundwork and to then spit out information. Then they're going to take that information and just go run with it. That has to stop. Don't just listen to someone talk. Do your due diligence and read. Just don't read a headline. The first headlines were meant to get you to click on it. Let's just get that out of the way. These companies, these ad companies, they get paid for clicks. They get paid for clicks. Guys, look that up. Pay per click. PPC. So pay per click. They get paid for these clicks, man. They'll make that headline so misleading. The headline will say that headline will talk about fucking that headline will talk about bagels in the body would be about the PlayStation 5. Zero correlates between the headline and the body. I'm telling you that right now. So really do your homework and really read into things and really become a practitioner and become like, don't let the facts use you. You use the facts.
Man, I think I love it, man. Kyle, I want just to end up because I forget to ask you, and I love to ask also to my guests one last question. Books or podcasts that you want to, because I already know that you are a big reader. Books or podcasts that you want to share with me and the listeners and viewers to
Um, I'm not a big reader actually. I just started reading this year. I never read a full book in my life.
Okay.
But the thing I do, I like to read. I read news, not news, but I read articles and I read business things and I read
Mm.
like Ad Age, and I'm in the industry that I'm in. I don't consume like books
Books.
or listen to so I'm like a different style of reading. But if I were to suggest anything to you guys, I would tell you guys to check out that dude I said, Jordan Peterson. That
Mm,
guy is that dude is that guy changed Gary V, right?
of
Like
course.
if you think that, like, I thought Gary V was the man. Fucking Jordan Peterson, like, this dude is like, Jordan Peterson is what Gary V would have. Listen to me. Jordan Peterson is what. Oh shit! 12 rules for life. That's crazy.
Yeah. It's in
Yeah, that's what's
Portuguese.
up, man. That's crazy. Yeah. Jordan Peterson is what Gary V would have been if Gary V would have like paid attention in school and like read and did things. Like that guy is like he's a fucking monster. He's a clinical psychologist. He knows his things. He's grounded in facts, and he includes himself. That's the number one thing I like about that guy. He's not just a fat spitter.
Mm-hmm.
He reads, he internalizes with wisdom, and then he gives you his opinion with facts, and he uses the facts. Like I said, the facts don't use him. He's not an avatar. He's not like a a tool. Like he's a person that has something to say that's derived from experience and data, and that's very rare. A lot of people just get on things and they just, I think that this, I think that. Well, I think this is that. Well, I think this is this. I think this is just fucking opinion. And it's not grounded in
Mm-hmm.
anything, not research, not data, not experience, not grounded in anything. And that's, danger. Like that's a threat. But definitely check that guy out. On everything. Watch his lectures on the biblical, the psychological, biblical, the significance of the Bible. Those things are fucking crazy. Check that guy out.
Oh,
Don't check my
really?
stuff out. I mean, if you want some real knowledge, like check that dude out. He's insane.
No, I will put after the description of your Instagram in the description of the video. If somebody wants to DM
Yep.
you, or just have a look on your profile. Man,
Yeah.
one more time, thank you so much for these hours. It was a great pleasure, this conversation. Guys, great night. I think that Kyle is not here anymore. It was a great conversation with him. Don't forget to go to his Instagram. Thumbs up. Great life to everyone.